Memorial Stadium. They're even sitting on the tracks in folding chairs because tonight it is number 3, the Houston Cougars in town to take on the Texas Longhorns, ranked number 14. Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Franklin. The game of the year in the Southwest Conference, and the Houston Cougars are a football team that everybody has really had problems getting a grasp on, and we'll show you why. Check out these numbers. They lead the nation total yards per game. They lead the nation in passing yardage per game. They're number 3 in the nation, 42.6 points per game. Gary Danielson, the run and shoot really can put up some gaudy numbers.
It's unbelievable. You know, there's been a little bit of criticism that it's just go out and get open. But believe me, there's a lot of sophistication. They have to have communication between the receivers and the quarterbacks. But I like the way Texas is going to try to defense them tonight. David McWilliams says, I trust you guys. I have confidence. We're going to line up in our defense. We're going to not change. We're going to adjust, and we're going to go at you. But the key, they must stop Weatherspoon. He's had 379 yards over the last 2 years. Key to the game offensively.
Well, Neil Lomax is with us down in the field tonight, and this is a real bonus because he played college football at Portland State under Mouse Davis, and of course their offense was the run and shoot. Neil, give us a better idea of what we can expect tonight.
Well, the run and shoot is a 4 wide receiver offense that's designed to score as quickly, as fast, and as often as possible. You know, when I was at Portland State throwing for 4 touchdowns, 400 yards, I thought it was a pretty good night. But the game and the offense has evolved so much under John Jenkins. The numbers are staggering. I mean, it's a fast-paced, fast-break, home run type of offense that's very exciting to watch. Back to you guys.
Okay, Neil, we'll look forward to hearing from you over the course of the evening. ESPN's College Football Saturday, Houston versus Texas, is brought to you by Bridgestone. For a free tire checkup and rotation, visit your participating Bridgestone retailer through November the 30th. By Levi's 505, 506, and 540 jeans. And by Sony Trinitron XDR, the screen behind the scenes. Memorial Stadium, Austin, Texas. As the Longhorns take the field, the Cougars had taken it just a couple of moments ago. And we are just about set for, as I said, what should be the game of the year in the Southwest Conference. This is the series history. First meeting, 1953. Texas leads at 8-6-2. Houston has averaged 57.6 points in the last 3 meetings. In fact, last year's ball game was the Cougars 47 at Texas 9. John Jenkins visits with his junior quarterback, David Klingler, out of Stratford, Texas, or Houston, actually, Stratford High School in Houston. And the Houston Cougar faithful, a lot of red to the right. Southwest Conference standings so far. The University of Texas with a mark of 4-0 in the conference. Houston, of course, in the asterisk there. The reason they are ineligible for Southwest Conference Championship and the Cotton Bowl is because of sanctions for the NCAA. Baylor, then comes Texas A&M, and for the Longhorns, well, they got to break a string, Gary Danielson, which has really been a thorn in their side, and it's been more than a thorn the way the Cougars have really put the points on the board against them.
Well, it's with the type of tradition that Texas has around here, they're not used to getting beat, let alone with the scores that they're being thrown up. But it's a new wave offense, and they're starting to get geared into it. They've faced it a few times now, and I think they have an idea and believe that they have the type of team that can stop it this year. Key, though, Ron, they have to play some offense tonight. They have to have some points in their
And
run.
this is a good offensive team from Texas.
Well, they were averaging 31 points, and they're very balanced. 188 on offense, running the ball, 200 passing the ball. That'll be the key.
Well, the top 10 today, again, it has been a topsy-turvy Saturday as you look at Pollock, who will kick it off for the Longhorns. Notre Dame had to come from behind to defeat Tennessee. They're 8-1. Washington was upset by UCLA. Of course, the Cougars play tonight. Colorado defeated Oklahoma State. The Hurricanes are idle this week. In the Final Five, Iowa upset by Ohio State. Georgia Tech had to come from behind to defeat Virginia Tech. BYU won big. Tennessee lost. And Florida defeated Georgia handily. This is going to come to the near side, bounces into the end zone, and let's take a look at the starters on offense for the Houston Cougars. David Klingler, the junior from Houston, opens at quarterback. Behind him, one running back, Chuck Weatherspoon, La Habra, California, and the wide receivers, Craig Alexander and Verlon Brown, and Manny Hazard and Tracy Good, and they're all very, very good. The center is Greg Jones. Charles Bowman and Mike Giesler, the guards, and the tackles Leroy Truitt and Jason Jessup.
Got to take a look, Ron. This might be a rarity. The only huddle Houston does it maybe all night.
That's exactly right. Because after every play, they run the hurry up. Klingler's first pass puts it up long, overthrown. Looking for John Brown III. Defensively, it's a 4-3. James Packman, Tommy Jeter, the tackles. The defensive ends, Dronette and Giles. The linebacker in the middle is Brian Jones. On the outside, Boone Powell and Anthony Curl. In the secondary, Mark Berry and Grady Cabness. And Stanley Richard, he's a great hitter, good ball player. And Lance Gunn, those are the safeties. Klingler said last night before practice that the noise would not bother them. But you could tell that the wideouts had to come in a little tighter that time, didn't they? Running play, and Weatherspoon is hit by James Patton. It's going to be a third down for the Cougars, and they will have about 12 yards to pick up the first.
As we talked before, Weatherspoon is a key guy they must stop. They're playing with two linebackers this year. Last year, Texas tried to dial them with only one linebacker. They feel they got two guys. 6 men are in the box. The whole idea is to try to stop that running game from Spoon.
It is intercepted by Texas. Mark Berry.
Two things happen right here. He gets pressure in his face. Right in his face. Klingler has to let it go. Number 60, Jones puts it, makes him throw it real high, and then Berry, good position with the man-to-man on the fade. Puts his arm out a little bit, but he beats him to the spot. The ball is slightly underthrown, and already Texas has the ball in great field position.
Chris Samuels in the ball game, slot to the right side. Gardere, first pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And let's check the starters on offense for the Texas Longhorns. Keith Gardere out of Houston Lee High School in Houston, Texas. Behind him, Phil Brown and Butch Hadnot, two freshmen. Keith Cash and Johnny Walker, the wide receivers. The tight end, Kerry Cash, the twin brother. Todd Smith is the center. The offensive line, Dwayne Miller and Jeff Boyd are the guards. And the tackles, Chuck Johnson and Stan Thomas. Draw play, and Samuels hit at the line of scrimmage, and it is going to be a 3rd down and 10. Daniel Johnson with a very good play. Trey Hooper and Steve Mateka are the defensive tackles for the Cougars. The defensive ends, Muko and Bevel. The linebacker in the middle, Ryan McCoy, very good young player. Eric Blunt and Reggie Burnett, the outside backers. John Brown and Jamie Mouton are the quarterbacks, and the safeties, Daniel Johnson and Jerry Parks. Texas goes shotgun. Gardere zips it over the middle, intercepted by Parks, and he will step out of bounds at the 42-yard line. It's his 5th interception, and Pete Gardere was not even close on that one.
They went trips to the far side of the field, Ron, and the ball was just thrown in the wrong spot. He really didn't have anybody zeroed in on the throw. Had fairly good protection. He's throwing against a man-to-man with a free safety in the middle of the field. He overthrows it, and that's where those free safeties gobble up plays like that. Jerry Parks grabs it. He's off to the sideline. Actually made a pretty good play. He could have changed the scoreboard on it.
It's the reason I paused for a moment. I thought he might take it all the way.
He could have.
On the field, the same thing that you will see all night, and that is Houston not use a huddle. Klingler pumped once, He's going to run, and Jones will push him out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
Had that play happened on the other sideline, that would have been whistled down because Jones pushed him a little bit late. Klingler went right through the bench. To get pressure on Klingler, you have to take away the short passes. Texas is playing man-to-man. Klingler's going to come out, look for somebody to throw. There's nobody to throw. They're playing man-to-man coverage. Watch Jones, give him a shove. It happens out of bounds. He runs through a couple people, and he's in the bench. That's where it's nice to do that on your own sideline. That couldn't have been called the other way. The idea here is not so much to hurry, but to put pressure on the defense of Texas by calling the ball at the line of scrimmage. Organized chaos is the way I like to refer to it.
Flag goes down, and he is sacked by Oscar Giles at the 49-yard line of Houston. The right tackle came out of his stance, I think, Jessup.
Illegal motion by the offense. Penalty decline. Third down.
There was a loss of 8 on the play. That's Wendell Sheldon, who is the referee tonight. Wendell, a veteran of the Southwest Conference. 3,553 yards. That's not career, that's this year. Throws this one sidearm, and it is caught inside the 10 at the 8-yard line by John Brown III. 42 yards.
Klingler is so strong, has such a powerful arm. Watch him come out, throws it going to his left, turns his body, throws almost a jump pass. Now that's pretty good coverage they have right there, right on the sideline to Brown, and he's really turned into the big play receiver in this offense for him, averaging nearly 18 yards a catch now. A track star.
I started to say, Gary, he's a 100-meter guy who has run a 9.8 100 meters. First and goal, Cougars. Weatherspoon, his second carry of the night, and James Patton will step up to make the hit on him.
Texas is still keeping 6 people, 4 down linemen and 2 linebackers. That's the reason. That guy right there, he is so powerful. He's averaging 7 yards a carry, and when he gets inside that 10-yard line, they like to run the shovel pass to him and the draw. The whole design of the defense is not to let Weatherspoon beat him.
Klingler lofts it up. They say incomplete, out of bounds. Hazard caught the ball. Stanley Richard tipped it, I believe.
Richard plays free safety, but he's also played corner in his day, and today he's going to match up, and he's going to have to play man-to-man all day. He's taking an outside technique. They try a little pick play. Hazard goes up the sideline. He jumps up here. Let's take a look at it. Oh. That could have been a touchdown right there. He gets his left foot in, I believe, on the lob pass. One more time, see if this is a better look. Yes, he comes down. Texas very fortunate there.
Blitz up the middle. Ball is loose. Are they going to call a forward pass or a fumble? Brian Jones was coming up the middle, and Texas has the football. The sophomore from Bridge City, Texas, made the recovery.
Weatherspoon is shifted to the side, so number 60, Brian Jones, is going to blitz versus this lineup all night. They do not have enough people to pick him up, and he times it perfectly.
College Football Saturday, Houston versus Texas, is brought to you by Infiniti, who invite you to test drive their full line of luxury automobiles. And by Tempstar Furnaces, you can rely on the star. Beautiful shot of the Capitol building here in Austin, Texas. It is a wonderful night. Temperature in the low 60s, going to be in the mid 50s by game's end. Hadnot to the right side, and McCoy steps through and knocks him down behind the line of scrimmage. McCoy, a freshman from Beaumont.
Another one of those freshmen that were playing high school football last year. Texas has to establish some running game. Hadnot's going to get the ball in the one-back set. He's going to try to bounce outside, but look at McCoy. Pursue him and drag him down from behind. These kids, I don't understand anymore. From high school to playing big-time football in 1 year, you know.
Chris Samuels. Nice cutback. Has 5, has 10. Check it, not quite 10. He is, well, it will be a gain of 10, but he won't have the first down because of the loss in the last play, and it will be out to the 18-yard line.
Chris Samuels is normally their possession back coming out of the backfield. They like to throw him the ball. He's had 20 receptions this year already, but if he can get the little draws in the running game, it's just going to be that much better. Establishing that running game would be nice for the Texas offense.
What everybody tries to do against Houston is play ball control, so you keep their offense off the field. Option play by Gardere. He will not have it. And again, it's 44 McCoy with the big hit.
He may have dropped that ball again, though.
Ball is fumbled, and they say Houston has recovered at the 18. That is 94 Trey Hooper, a senior from Mineral Wells, Texas, and the Longhorns with 2 turnovers early. Texas A&M played Houston off their feet until 8 turnovers finally did them in.
Well, I thought one of the keys to this game would be Texas is going to get the ball a lot. There's going to be a lot of possessions in this game, and Houston's going to get it a lot. But they can't turn the ball over and get them any extras. They need to punt the ball a few times. We haven't had one yet. 4 turnovers here in the first quarter.
Houston sets up shop at the Texas 18. Wendell Shelton whistles this one down.
Dead ball. Start. Offense. First down.
Gary, maybe the noise is giving Houston some problems.
And the pass rush, I think. You know, those linemen they're ready. They're on a hanger trigger. They know that Klingler's already got some pressure on them.
Mike Edmonds, the Houston radio play-by-play man, said last year's game that Houston played at College Station was terribly loud, and that the Cougars had a lot of problems with their signals with the no-huddle. Klingler under pressure, throws it, has a man open, touchdown Houston, Manny Hazard.
Up on Richard right here. One of the things, look how he protects the ball very nicely with his back. He doesn't overrun the ball and reach back and give the defender a chance to knock it down. He shields him with his back and does a nice job of protecting the touchdown.
Roman Anderson with the extra point attempt, and he is good. So with 10 minutes, 47 seconds left to play in this opening quarter, and a little rocky start as far as turnovers by both clubs, and it is Houston who goes on the scoreboard first. There you go. 10 seconds.
Well, that's one way to get shorten that average of drive time when you get the ball on that 15-yard line, and especially when you look out there and you know it's man-to-man every time. You know you can just lob it to the end zone, and those are nice throws. You know, Klinger has a rocket for an arm, but he also has some very nice touch on his passes. He knows where to put it in a spot where just his guy can get it. He's already made 3 nice throws tonight.
Roman Anderson. This is going to come down to Samuels. Fumbles the ball. That is live, and Texas has recovered at the 15-yard line. I'm telling you, David McWilliams has got to be going absolutely crazy on the sideline.
The pass rush has done his job, but look at Klinger just backs up. Patton's going to put the rush on him, but he knows that he's got man-to-man coverage, and even backing up, Klinger can just lay the ball up because look at Hazard has man-to-man coverage. He comes up, he straightens up his guys, gives the post move, and Edwards, he's at mercy of the throw now, and nice screen on the underthrow a little bit by Hazard.
looks him off, throws to Stephen Clark at the 21-yard line, and the tight end out of New Orleans has a gain of about 5 in the play. Eric Blunt is there defensively for the Cougars. See the numbers on Gardere. 101 completions for 1,331 yards. 5 touchdowns and now 5 interceptions on the year.
The most he's ever thrown in one game has been 1 interception, so that's very unlike him. He does not turn the ball over a lot.
Hadnot on the draw. Close to the first down, going to depend on where they spot from the far side. McCoy is the man who made the stop, and that is a first down for the Longhorns.
Well, hopefully that will get them over the mark here. They have to run the ball inside. This is a very, very hurt defense. A lot of young players on this Houston defense, and they want to stop the run. They can make the passing game go with the run.
Hadnot with the carry, gets pinned in, shakes off one tackler, and he'll take it out for a couple. And let's go down to the field. And Neil Lomax, just how loud is it down there?
Well, there's no question the noise is a big, big factor, not just for David Klingler and the receivers. As you can see, the offensive line in every series they've been off the ball because they can't hear David give the signals, and that's bad pass protection. As Gary mentioned, there's been a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Back upstairs to you, Ron.
9:18 left to play in this opening quarter. Houston 7-0. Gardere steps up, zips it long, and almost intercepted by Parks. It would have been his second, and it also would have been a touchdown if he holds on. There's nobody down the near side of the field.
Well, he had Keith Cash open, but he threw it too far to the inside. Peter Gardere right here, he has plenty of protection. He steps into the throw, but you'll see it. It goes behind his receiver right there, and Parks, oh, I'm sorry, Jerry, but that's why they put you on defense. The guys that catch at Houston play offense.
Good point. Third down. Texas needs the 35.5-yard line. Gardere over the middle, has it complete to Keith Cash, and that is enough for the Texas first down. The Cash twins present a really formidable problem for the opposition because both are former basketball players. They're about 6'5" and have great leaping ability.
And you will see how valuable they are as they get closer to the goal line, if they ever do tonight, because they will go up top and get the jump ball type fade throw.
Hadnot. And Houston is there to diagnose that one. Burnett and Hooper combine on the stop at the 40-yard line. Texas trying to establish the running game, as Gary said, but so far Burnett, McCoy, and Hooper have had the answer.
There's a key player right there, Reggie Burnett. Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator for Houston, said he's as good as there is in the Southwest Conference. He has a little bit of an ankle. We have to keep an eye on him tonight.
Looking for Walker, has the catch at the 45-yard line. Parks makes the play, but Walker went about 3 feet in the air to bring that one down for 15.
All right, coming right at you here. Little play action pass. He's got man-to-man coverage, gets him off the line, gives him a fake, and goes up the field. He's going to read the zone now. Comes right inside, curls, the ball's thrown a perfect time. Nice job by Walker, reaches up, catches it in his hands. Johnny Walker, big-time player. Really, really like this receiver.
Johnny is also an outstanding baseball player. Gardere on the short drop, has it complete, and that is Braylon Johnson. As Texas that time pulling a page out of the Houston book, Gary, on the short drop with the single coverage on the outside, trying to shake him loose after the reception.
One thing that Houston likes to do is to bring that strong safety. Gardere here reads it, and he's going to audible. The strong safety is just out of your picture up here at the top of the screen. You can't really see it, and when he audibles, you got to get out of the play.
Ninth play of the drive for the Longhorns, and they go running play with Sanders, breaks it out into the secondary, and inside the 15, Mouton saves the touchdown.
Lynn Amity believes that they have an advantage right here. They feel their offensive line, which averages a lot of yards, a lot of height and strength, can blow some holes for Samuels and Hadnot. And they get the blocking for each other. Hadnot threw a big block there for Samuels. That's key. Can they block for each other?
Samuels, 3 carries for 34 yards. Gets the handoff again, and the senior from San Antonio looked for the world. He was dead behind the line of scrimmage, and he'll pick up 4. Trey Hooper had the answer defensively, but it's going to be a gain of about 5 on the play.
Well, Samuels is so valuable coming out of the backfield as a receiver. Tonight, he looks like he's got his running shoes on. Credit the offensive line. They've got a weight advantage. They're about 30 pounds bigger than this Houston defensive line.
Adrian Walker, who's a sophomore out of Tyler Chapel Hill, checks into the ballgame. He has 4 touchdowns of the year, 280 yards.
This is the time, the part of the field where the Cash brothers start to get involved with the line.
Counterplay with Walker. Skims by 1 tackler and inside the 5 down to the 4. Jason Youngblood, the sophomore from Refugio, Texas, is there to make the stop. Stephen Clark comes back in at tight end. He will replace Johnny Walker. Walker's been troubled a bit by an ankle injury. They were not sure how much he would be able to go tonight. Didn't look as though it phased him on that 15-yarder a moment ago.
I don't think so.
Started on the 15, 11 plays on this drive by Texas. But they got a 3rd down and a very big one. Hadnot. He'll score.
Let's credit the offensive line here. Unbelievable movement they got. Smith, Boyd, tackle Stan Thomas. Before Hadnot even gets 2 yards into the end zone, he hasn't even been touched, and they just make an impressive drive to come back and tie this game up.
Michael Pollock with the extra point attempt, and with 5 minutes, 43 seconds left in the opening quarter, we are tied.
How do you get real premium beer taste in a non-alcoholic brew? You start with a real premium beer. That's how Anheuser-Busch makes O'Doul's. O'Doul's is carefully brewed, fully fermented, and cold-aged. Then the alcohol is naturally removed, retaining all the great taste. So how do you get real premium beer taste in a non-alcoholic brew? Ask for an ice-cold O'Doul's. O'Doul's, the taste will win you over.
What do you call a car that has learned to use the wind? A car designed to settle in when you race into it head on and stabilize when it buffets you from the side. Road and Track called it one of the 10 best cars in the world. But it is probably better known as the Infiniti Q45.
It's feeding time for the beast in the basement again, and you know what that old furnace is going to do to your utility bills, but you don't have to let that monster upset your budget. Send for Tempstar's Home Comfort Guide. It's free consumer information about the savings you can obtain with a high-efficiency furnace. The Comfort Guide informs you so that you can make the right choice when the time comes to replace old equipment. Before you start that beast in your basement, start something that could save you money every month. The information is free, and so is the call.
Houston 7 and Texas 7. 5:43 left in this opening quarter. Michael Pollock, who has been a very pleasant surprise for the Texas Longhorns this year, prepares to kick it off. Tracy Good, who wears number 1. Tracy is a sophomore from Clute, Texas. Back is the deep man. Pollock's kick, 3 yards deep. He's going to return it. Markers 1, 2, and now 3 coming down at the 15-yard line as Good's teammates were signaling for him. Sanders saying, don't bring it out, and he decided he wanted to. And the receiver off the stop. Some of us is victorious. clip against the Houston Cougars. Gary, one thing you have to say, though, about the Houston offense, down and distance really does not make a lot of difference to them.
I think as a defensive back, you just look behind you and see all that open territory and get more nervous. Here, one more look at this touchdown. The offensive line is going to get a push. Left guard, Dwayne Miller, 53, Todd Smith, Boyd, Thomas, they all push him right into the end zone. That's what you have to have on the 5-yard line. Adrian Walker, number 36, also gets had down into the end zone. Good play from the 5-yard line.
Now Houston is right in front of the Texas cheering section. Inside handoff, and Weatherspoon is devoured by James Patton. Oh my goodness. Patton so far has truly been outstanding.
He has emerged as their best defensive lineman. Now the idea here is to rush the passer and play the run on the go. You get some penetration and then look for the handoff on the way to the ball carrier. Penetration first is the key.
3 carries for Spoon, and Weatherspoon has a -1 so far. Klingler, shovel pass, incomplete. That's no fumble. Crowd always gets excited. The only thing is the closest guy to the shovel pass was an offensive tackle.
Well, they had Spoon over there, but look at Giles come into your face here. Klinger's going to roll to the left, and he sees it, and boy, does he get rid of it. There is, you're right, Ron. Spoon went the wrong way, and there was no one there but the offensive tackle.
3rd down. They have been, Texas has been extremely tough. Let's see if they can slow Houston down here. Again, pressure coming up the middle, and the ball is caught by Weatherspoon with blockers in front. Look out. He can run forever. Caught from behind at the 45-yard line of Texas. 50 yards in the play by Weatherspoon.
They go to the shovel pass again. This time the safety blitz is coming. Gunn is coming. And watch the shovel pass this time. Over the head of everybody. And uh-oh, the Tanks got it in the open field. Look at this guy run. 4'7", 4'8", 5'7", weighs 225 pounds. And the safety, who safety blitz Guns, come back and makes the tackle on the play.
Klingler now 3 of 7. 1 touchdown, 114 yards. Incomplete. Tracy Good, the intended receiver. Shane Dronette, number 81, was the Texas player putting the pressure on quarterback David Klingler.
And you're right, the pressure is coming. That's the first time Texas has dropped in a zone tonight. But the most important thing is they're knocking Klingler down. That wears. It's like body punches in a boxer. It wears and it wears. It doesn't wear if you keep throwing touchdown passes, but you have some success on it. It'll be a long night for David.
You just joined us. 4 minutes and 24 seconds left in the opening period. Texas 7 and Houston 7. Klingler again has a man open, and Brown can't hold on. Van Malone hit him, and for the world it looked like a completed pass, but not the case. Let's get an update on college football. Here's Tim Brando.
In case you missed it, fellas, Southern Mississippi beat Auburn today, and here's how they did it. Brett Farr, 10 yards to Anthony Harris with 46 seconds left. Southern Miss beats Auburn 13-12. They're the Alabama State champions. They beat Alabama earlier this year, Ron, and Southern Mississippi is apparently going to the Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl. Auburn is looking ahead to Georgia next week.
So Auburn dropping back-to-back games. That doesn't happen too often. Houston on 3rd down. They're 2 of 4 tonight. Klingler, throwback screen, and the ball is fumbled, and Texas recovers at the 40.
Here's the ISO on Patrick Cooper. It's a quick screen to the sideline. Watch the play Van Malone makes. He gets inside Truitt with a big hit right on the ball. It pops loose, and another turnover for this Texas team. That's what they have to do. Tommy Jeter gets the ball loose, And they've got it on a 40-yard line again. I look for them to push it between the tackles.
Ron Franklin, Gary Danielson from Memorial Stadium in Austin, Texas. Neil Lomax is down on the field helping us out with the sideline work tonight. Adrian Walker carries it for a couple to around the 42-yard line. Trey Hooper down on the bottom of that stack. He's a healthy one at 6 feet 270. I kidded him last night at the workout. I had his game for the Texas All-Star High School game up in Fort Worth. And I was visiting with him the day we got there talking with the players who would participate. He had just finished lunch and he seemed in a hurry. And the reason he put his tray down and went through the line again. He said, yes, sir, that was me. Gardere flushes from the pocket, now goes long, and Keith Cash on the reception at the 33. Mouton made the tackle, and Mouton is pleading his case, saying that Keith Cash pushed off.
This time Houston's going to drop to the zone. Everybody's covered. Gardere takes his time. Now watch Cash down here at the bottom of your screen. He gives him the high signal, but he's covered. When the ball comes, though, he pushes off on Mouton, comes back, and gets the catch. Hey, you know, Ron, what I always say, you get away with it, it counts.
Phil Brown, redshirt freshman from Commerce, checks in, gets the handoff, and he will be tripped up after a couple. That's a fine play by Eric Blunt. Phil Brown is a young man that you remember earlier this year, Gary, in the Colorado game. He came in and made a difference against the Colorado defense for the Texas Longhorns.
Well, the Longhorns have 4 backs that they can throw at you. Hadnot, Brown, Walker, and Samuels, and that's been the key. They've got a lot of diversity, a lot of weapons on offense.
Brown, the leading rusher, with 427 yards for the Horns. Option play, Gardere will turn it up. And he is fortunate to have picked up a couple as Muko is there. And let's go down to the field. Once again, here's Neil Lomax.
Well, another problem basically for the Texas defense is their conditioning. They love to have their offense stay on the field as much as they can, Ron and Gary, because defensive backs get awfully tired, like Stan the Sheriff Richards here. The trainer has had him take a lot of water and a lot of rest this week. He's in for a long evening if Klinger gets that ball.
Spanky Stevenson, the trainer, talked about their conditioning and what they would have to be prepared for tonight. I guess it is kind of like facing a marathon. Gardere on third down has the man open. Walker, first and goal, Texas.
This time Gardere comes back. It throws it in timing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop back, shuffle up, throw the ball on time. And this Walker is a big-time speed receiver. Nice sharp break, reads the throw all the way. It's right on the numbers, and he almost gets into the end zone. What's the quarterback think about that? Oh, yeah, I like it. Oh, yeah, I'm down there. Let's push it in again.
Running play down to the 2, maybe the 2.5-yard line.
You know, the running game and the combination of a little play-action game, not only does it move the ball, it frustrates John Jenkins. He would even like, you know, he wants turnovers or he wants to get the ball back even if they score. He believes in letting he have that offense.
You know, I asked him in Arkansas, their offense had not scored a touchdown in the first quarter, and I asked him if he was getting a little frustrated. He said, yeah. Adrian Walker, touchdown Longhorns.
This time from the 2-yard line again, a little fake handoff to the right. Look at him get up, carried into the end zone. Let's give the credit again to the line. They're scoring, they're pushing. Todd Smith, the center, gets under his man, a little cross box. Dave Miller, number 53, comes around, and they just make it easy for Walker to dive in the end zone.
Michael Pollock makes it 24 of 24 this year. 1:08 left in the first, Horns by 7.
Good job, good job.
You know, losing your hair can be devastating to those of us who've experienced it. Hi, I'm John Vincent.
14-7, Texas moves on top with 68 seconds left in this opening quarter. Pollock prepares to kick it off. Houston, with their one touchdown tonight, needed only 10 seconds following a Texas turnover. Pollock's kick, this one is going to come down 5 yards deep, and they will not return it as Cody Smith goes down in one knee. A couple of more looks at the Texas touchdown a moment ago.
Ron, nice combination block by the center, Todd Smith here, and Dwayne Miller. He sets, comes around, and leads Walker right into the end zone. Watch the combination block against the even front from Houston right here. Gets the ball, man goes out, man comes in. Walker gets enough head of a steam to dive into the end zone. Very, very nice job against an even front, meaning no one's head up on the center.
7 plays, 60 yards, just over 3 minutes. Adrian Walker gets the touchdown. Time of possession. Well, that's what Lynn Amity said they wanted.
And just as important, 14 points on the scoreboard.
Weatherspoon is nailed at the line of scrimmage, and this time it's Tommy Jeter, the junior from Deer Park, Texas. Gary, now explain something to me. If you are a defensive player and all ball game long, no huddle, you know, what does it do to you?
Well, I don't think you're too upset by it. You know, the defensive backs might even like it. They don't have to go huddle up again. They know they're going to cover somebody. Just find your man and go play. The defense, they just want to rush the passer, play the run on the way to the passer.
Blitz coming up the middle. Houston picks it up, and Klingler lobs it, and he's got Hazard out there, overthrown at the 50.
You know, Ron, everybody says you have to pressure the quarterback, but unless you're willing to get up and take the short passes away from the quarterback, you can have the greatest pass rush in the world. The quarterback's just going to dump off 20 easy passes. You have to gamble a little bit and make him have a couple overthrows. Even though he's open, he has to hit a perfect pass under pressure.
John Jenkins had what I thought was a really interesting statement yesterday. We were talking about the offense. He said sometimes to help fatigue a defensive secondary that he will run a long route and then send in 4 fresh new receivers and come back with the very same
We
thing.
will see that play tonight.
Klingler. He is going to turn it up at the 40 and steps out of bounds at the 45-yard line. I thought for a moment he was going to come to the sideline, but he had plenty of room, and Willie Mack Garza finally pushes him out of bounds, but it's a gain of 29.
Great play by Klingler here. Look, he wants to shovel past the number 28, the Spoon. He's going to roll out. Watch Spoon turn around. He's covered. So he's got to make something happen on his own. This guy just gets outside. A great athlete, David is. Not only can he throw the ball 70 yards like we saw last night, he can get out and hurt you. You know, the 2 big plays they've had coming out of their own zone have been the 2 shovel passes. One, he throws it over everybody's head, and this time he scrambles out. Both times, Texas had it pretty well defense.
21 seconds left in this opening quarter. Overthrown. Hazard is the man that he wanted, and let's go back down to Neil Lomax.
Well, one thing I failed to mention to you guys about the run and shoot offense, it takes a long, long time to play. As you can tell, the Longhorn mascot, Bevo, the 1,500-pound steer, is taking a little breather right now, and you guys might not be able to take a nap in this game, but this big old steer, Ron and Gary, he's just kind of chilling out down here.
Well, the way he turned his head there was almost like I don't want to watch while Houston has the football.
I think Bevo's seen the run and shoot in action before. He knows he's got to be here a while. Hey, but it's fun. It's fun, and they throw it, and the scoreboard's going to change.
Klingler, quick out pass to Hazard, and has the first down at the 41-yard line. Stanley Richard pushed him out of bounds. He was working against Van Malone, and he got by him, and then Stanley came over from that free safety spot.
All 3 receivers to the outside. You see it's a little pick. Number 1, Tracy Good comes in, and then Hazard just rubs off him to the outside. Oh, late hit. The Sheriff gets caught right there. He gets nabbed. That's going to add 15 yards onto it.
So Richard is flagged for the personal foul and the hit out of bounds, and now add 15 more onto it. So the Cougars picked up the first down, and now this will put it down inside the 28.
Look at the jam between this guy. This is why the coaches for the run and shoot like the small receivers. They have to avoid the jams by these defensive backs. He's going to get up on the line of scrimmage, and he has to get away from him. Good job right there, a little bit to the head.
Weatherspoon up the middle, drawn in. Has him in the grasp. It's going to be a pickup of 2, and that will be the last play of this opening quarter. So there's a timeout. Longhorns 14 and the Cougars 7. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Austin, Texas. Ron Franklin, Gary Danielson, and Neil Lomax. Houston Cougars with a second down at the 25. Option play. Weatherspoon going to be hit by Bo Robinson. As Texas has brought in a couple of new defensive ends, Bo Robinson and also number 87, Mark Steed.
You know, sometimes when you watch this passing game, the run and shoot, you think it's touch football. Guarantee you, when Weatherspoon gets the ball, it's no longer touch football. The option down the line, and watch him turn it up, and here comes the hitting. Jones and Robinson play the option. Try to contain Weatherspoon the best they can. I'd like to see him keep him under 100 yards rushing.
Keep an eye on the man to the short side of the field. Brown is the speedster, and they got the isolation because of the trips. Klingler intercepted in the end zone by Lance Gunn.
Houston here tries to run a pick play. These two guys are going to come inside. Tracy Good's going to try to come out in the flat. Now watch how nicely Texas plays it right here. They come inside. He breaks out. No, he's covered. Now Klingler tries to make something happen, and he gets a little too greedy. Gunn's reading his eyes, and he comes over there and gets the easy INT.
That's 4 turnovers for the Houston Cougars. 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles. The Longhorns have also had turnover problems. They have put it on the ground a couple of times. Interception and a fumble. Gardere going to go long, looking for Keith Cash inside the 40.
Hey, I don't blame you, Keith Cash. You are big time. I'll tell you, Gardere comes out this time, rolls out of the pocket, and throws a nice one on the run. Stay with it, keep your head on it, reach out and run through the ball and cradle it in. He beats Jamie Mooten. You know, I mean, that's as good as you can throw the ball. He hits him right in stride, and you got a 6'4" receiver to gobble it up.
Samuels on the pitch. Spins off the tackler, pushed out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
I think the surprise of the offense so far for Texas has been Samuels. You know, you look at him coming out of the backfield to catch passes, but tonight he's given them what they need coming out and running the ball, and he's a threat to catch the ball also. A real valuable player tonight.
Chris, a senior out of San Antonio, and Gary, sometimes that senior leadership pays off.
There's no doubt about it.
5 carries for 45 yards for him tonight. Hadnot has the first down at the 25, and the storyline in this one so far. Houston 4 turnovers the first 5 possessions. Texas 2 TD drives, took over 8 minutes. Gardere 7 of 10, 130 yards. He's off to a blazing start. Klingler 5 of 14, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. Short drop pass to Walker. Tries to get by Mouton, and it is another Texas first down, this one at the 14-yard line.
Man-to-man coverage, Gardere reads it, calls a little hitch pass, easy, pitch and catch, comes out, Walker's got the speed. Look, they're 10 yards off here. That's just too easy. Touches it, paces him up, gives him a little shake and bake, goes to the outside, picks up the first down.
Samuels gets to the outside. He is out of bounds at the 2.
Chris Samuels is having himself a game tonight. Get the win, big guy. Go for it. Play. Takes it. Watch him bounce. He reads. He's looking for anybody. Run to the outside. And he's going to run. Stan Thomas again. The right tackle had a big block, number 51, and he's down to the 1-yard line again.
First and goal, Texas. Samuels now with 6 carries as the Longhorns go to a straight T in the backfield. Samuels in the carry, hit in the backfield, and knocked out of bounds by McCoy at the 2-yard line. Now they're going to say the 1. Also, Burnett was out there defensively. And now a flag comes down late after the play is over. The distance is going to be about 18 inches from where the flag was thrown. We're going to put it down at the half-yard mark.
Ron, you've seen Samuels a lot over his career. He is really running the ball tonight and keeping his feet going. Looks like he's really ready to play tonight.
Extremely good back.
There you see the difference, 89 yards rushing to 19. That's not a real fair comparison to rushing yards for Houston. That's not the idea. It's just that Texas needed to gain some yards rushing the ball.
Oh, so the down will be second.
Wendell Shelton, and I'll tell you what, I admire what he did right there. We all know about a situation earlier this year between Colorado and Missouri, and those officials doing a good job of making sure everybody knows. Had not. Touchdown, Texas.
They're going to run off the right side again behind number 51, Stan Thomas, number 58, Jeff Boyd, but had not. You know, he's just a true freshman, but he's a big one, and he's got the power. And, you know, right away, I mean, 21 points, and we've got a fair amount of this second quarter to play right here. Very, very impressive for this Texas offense tonight.
Pollock knocks it through, and the Longhorns go on top by a score of 21-7. Next week, right here on ESPN, it all begins with College Game Day. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Charlene Hawks. That's at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Our first game at 12:30 Eastern Time. Minnesota at 19 Michigan. Michigan with a big win today. And this is where Gary and I will be in the South Bend for Penn State at Notre Dame. 4 Eastern Time. And then the night game next week is Georgia at Auburn. The Tigers upset today by Southern Mississippi.
Let's talk a little bit about Peter Gardere. He started off with the interception, you know, and he started off last week slow. He was 0 for 6, but right now he's 8 for 11, 143 yards. Gardere is a winner, but this guy right here, Klingler, it's just an opportunity now for him to throw for a lot of yards. He's behind. We're going to see yards and yards and yards if he has some time.
Not only are they sold out in the stands here in Austin, but there are folding chairs in both end zones. There you can get a good shot, and I don't know what in the world you can see down there, but those people paid their money and wanted to come in and see this football game.
And you could say you were here.
I guess so. This is good from the 3. Good gets nailed as he crosses the 15, and that is Higgins on the special team.
Another look, the right side of the line. All the linemen are going to try to score. Push inside a little bit, but Hadnot actually runs through a tackle to get through the end zone. Nice push, you know, from this side. The size difference at the Texas offensive line is just too much. He runs through a tackle by number 26, and he gets into the end zone, and it's 21-7. Butch had
7 plays, 80 yards. A minute and 27 seconds consumed. Klingler, shovel pass to Weatherspoon, and he's got some running room at the 30 to the 35, and Stanley Richard comes to make the stop. Let's go back to Tim Brando. Come in, sir.
Ron, in many respects, Scott Sisson was the GOAT. In fact, he missed 4 field goals today for Georgia Tech, but when they needed one with 8 seconds left against the Hokies of Virginia Tech, he booted it through. 6-3, Georgia Tech still headed to the Citrus with no losses, but one very crucial tie to North Carolina that puts them out of the national championship picture. Or does it?
I don't think anybody's out of it anymore, do you?
I don't think so. That's been the conversation about no real dominant team this year. Klingler throws it back. That's complete to Hazard, and what an open field hit by Stanley Richard.
Whoa!
And Hazard with the very good gesture there, patting him on the back. That's a good play. Richard is the one who made that hit against Bieniemy in the Colorado game at the goal line, and we marveled that Bieniemy got up.
Yeah, he's just such an impressive player. He plays free safety against the option teams and plays from sideline to sideline making tackles. And here he's matched up man-to-man all over the field, and you see what type of a hitter he is. The best free safety I've seen in college football this year.
Weatherspoon takes it across the 40 to the 41. Tommy Jeter is there defensively, and now the Cougars look at a 3rd down situation, and Gary, they need the 46.
3rd and 5, 1st and 5, they don't really care. They're just going to call the same plays. I think what Texas is doing is so smart though right now. They're just playing points. They're not really involved in getting involved in how many yards they're getting. The only thing that matters is the scoreboard. Houston is going to put some yards on. They just got to keep them out of the end zone.
Speaking of yards, that's what it looks like right now in total yards. And folks, we got a lot of playing time left. Wilson pressuring, and Klingler not only has the first down, but has 10 and 15 yards more before Brian Jones decks him inside the 40. And for people who try to say that maybe Klingler doesn't have the mobility that Andre Ware had, I don't know. He's run the ball pretty doggone well.
I'd like to take a look at Andre Ware again, because if he doesn't have the mobility, I don't know what you had. He looked like about a 4-6 sprinter right there. You know, that's the 3rd big play David has made on his own. He wanted to throw a little quick screen back. Nothing was there, just like the shovel passes where one he looped it over everybody, and the other time he scrambled. He's been doing it.
One thing also about the run and shoot, just like in the pros, your defense is set to cover 10 guys, but not that person.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that Klingler has taken advantage of the situation well tonight. Weatherspoon, the intended receiver. And I think he just popped that one in the ground close enough to him so it wouldn't be grounding. But there were a lot of orange jerseys all around Weatherspoon.
Well, David is going to keep attacking. You know, you've got 3 downs, and you're looking for the goal line every time. There you see John Jenkins. Even though they don't huddle, they get on the line of scrimmage. John still calls the plays, and he just wants to keep that pressure, that mental pressure on the defense that so wears you as the game goes on.
Gary, how tough is it for the defense to get their signals called without the quarterback seeing what the defense is called?
Well, when David is looking to the sideline, they have an opportunity. There you see a little bit of a mix-up. The crowd is a factor. Neil is right. It is very difficult offensively to do it. Defensively, Brian Jones watched film with us yesterday, and he said that both the secondary and the linebackers were going to take signals.
It's College Football Saturday. Houston versus Texas is brought to you by Jeep. There's only one Jeep. And by Michelob Dry Beer. Once you experience the bold taste with no aftertaste, there's no going back. 10:52 remaining until halftime. Option play. Weatherspoon turns the corner, cuts it back nicely at the 25 and down to the 20-yard line. Brian Jones had to corral him, and that will be a first down for Houston.
Ron, the reason the option is so effective is the defensive backs are playing man-to-man coverage. They have their back turned to the offense. So if the defensive end can't make the play, you're into space. Weatherspoon's running the ball, and nobody knows he's got it.
That's right. A lot of times against an offense like this, you'll see linebackers and defensive backs with their back to the running back, and he's already
and he's running.
Klingler. And he just throws this one away. That's about 5 yards out of the back of the end zone. John Brown III was the closest man to it. Tommy Jeter was putting pressure on Klingler.
David has the big arm. He can do that. He's backing out. You know, he throws the ball about 40 yards in the air and gets it out of bounds and gets to tee it up again, 2nd and 10. Just the mental pressure on the defensive backs, though. They're chasing these guys all around the end zone, and Klingler just throws it out of bounds, and he's real relaxed, but all 5 defensive backs for Texas have their heart in their mouth all the play.
3 minutes on this drive. This is the longest drive of the evening for Houston. Klingler drills it incomplete, and a flag comes down. Manny Hazard is the man he wanted, and Stanley Richard was covering against him.
This call right here. Manny Hazard was going to run the same route that he ran for the touchdown before. He comes in, runs a little fake to the post, and breaks out. And there's Richards going to contact him right there. You don't know how much farther Hazard would be able to get for that ball and jump up. That's a real judgment call right there. I know, as a quarterback, I'd be upset with that call.
Quarterbacks always were upset. 3rd down. Weatherspoon on 3rd and 10, hit behind the line of scrimmage by Anthony Curl.
Anthony Curl's job right then is to spy the fullback. He just looks at Spoon. If he gets it, if the quarterback doesn't pass the Spoon, he's going to make the tackle. Nice job by Anthony Curl. You know, Anthony's only 205 pounds, but he does a good job playing linebacker at such a small size.
Roman Anderson, his father, Billy Guy, quarterback for the University of Tulsa, also played for the Rams. And Anderson is good from 38 yards. So with 9 minutes and 35 seconds showing on the clock here at Memorial Stadium until halftime, it is 21-10.
Ron, this is the first game I've covered from run and shoot. You watch it a little bit on television, but when you're up here, you really see the tension and the anxiety it creates for a defense. I mean, there's a lot of space for this offense to work in it. And you can see why these defensive coordinators, when we met with them on Thursday, Leon Fuller, he was just going, oh boy, he looked like he'd had 2 months of looking at this stuff.
Looked like he had needed to start drinking decaf. Well, NFL game day tomorrow, noon Eastern time, and in the NFL prime time, coming along at 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow evening. And speaking of tomorrow evening, ESPN's NFL game, the 49ers at Dallas. That is at 8 Eastern time. Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann will be up in Big D. Roman is named. I mentioned that his dad had played for the Rams. He is named after Roman Gabriel. Line drive kick taken by Walker at the 3. 36 to the 37-yard line, and Anderson made the tackle.
When we talked to defensive coordinator Larry Coyer last night, He said this Houston defense, no matter what it takes, if it takes putting 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage, they have to stop the running game. They want to force Peter Gardere into a throwing game. So far, Texas has been successful in running the ball. Let's see how they adjust to try to stop the running game.
Phil Brown fights his way forward for 1, maybe 2. John W. Brown out of the secondary comes up to make the hit. John is a freshman from Amarillo, Texas. In fact, a couple of guys on that side of the field defensively, John W. Brown and Daniel Johnson, both from Amarillo and played at Paladura High School. Is complete. McCoy on the hit, and that is enough for the Texas first down.
One of the turning points in this game so far happened in the first quarter. Klingler is going to roll out, and he's going to hit Manny Hazard on kind of a busted play here. Hazard turns up the sideline. The lob pass, he goes up. Let's make sure he's got it. Yes, he's got it in his arm. His foot comes in. It's called no touchdown. A turnover occurs a couple plays later, and Texas survives without any points on the scoreboard. Big play so far.
Reverse to Keith Cash. And defensively, the Cougars are right there to knock him down. Muko is the man with containment who came up to make the hit, and then John W. Brown was there to make the stop. And that's going to be a loss of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 15, Texas.
Lynn Amity said they were going to run the reverse tonight, and even if it didn't get big yards, he had to run it to keep the running game honest, to keep those backside people playing honest so that they could run the ball between the tackles. I don't think he wanted to lose 5 yards.
I don't think so. Johnny Walker, good open field hit. Reggie Burnett is right there to make the stop at the 49-yard line. Bevel was putting pressure on, excuse me, Garrett. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 11.
James Bevel puts little pressure on Peter Gardere, but Walker's going to come out. He's going to delay a little bit, let his receivers clear. It's a zone route, though. Reggie Barnett is just going to stay there. Uh-oh, turn around, and you got about a 6'4" linebacker coming right at you. It's a completion, but nothing to write home to mom about.
Pete Gardere, 10 of 13, 157 yards. Houston comes with a blitz. Gardere wants to run it, and he will be tackled at the line of scrimmage by Muko.
Well, that's going to make this Cougar defense proud. They finally got a stop. We're going to see a punt. They had good coverage in the secondary, and Peter had nothing to do but to just take the sack right there. Good job by Muko.
First punt by Texas tonight, Alex Waits. He is a senior from Plano. He's a left footer. Into we're in. Parks from the 12. And he will take it to the 22-yard line. So there's a timeout on the field. 6:36 left until halftime. We'll be right back. 21-10 with just over 6.5 minutes left until halftime. U.S. Army Student Athlete of the Game is brought to you by the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And our Student Athlete of the Game is Stephen Clark from the University of Texas, a senior tight end with a GPA of 3.0 in finance. He is out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Throws the up and has it tipped away. That's Stanley Richard who got a hand on it. Hazard was breaking free up the sideline, and Richard just went parallel to the ground and got it.
One of the problems so far for this Houston offense has been the protection. Now they're going to go to a little bit of a quieter drop here, just 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. He's going to look for the pick pass, a little fake. He keeps rolling, and nice touch on this throw. But what, Richard? Watch him right there. Hand out there, stretched out. Nice job, Stanley. Running, running, running. Keep going. No interference. Just run through the ball. What an athlete.
Klingler, and he will go down as he turned and saw Tommy Jeter coming right in his face, and rather than take the vicious open field hit, he just went down.
All night, the pass rush has been the problem so far. Klingler rolls right. He's going to try to come back. It's the shovel pass again, and it was red this time again. And here comes Jeter. David, get down. You got plenty of passes to throw tonight. You got a guy that's 6'5", 263. Tommy coming right at you, looking right at you. I know he's not grinning when he's coming in there.
Third down, and the Cougars need their own 32-yard line. And he is going to go long, overthrown. Had a man out there, but overthrew it. Marcus Grant had broken free. And a standing ovation from the Texas partisans for the defense.
You know, Ron, you're right. He was open, but open by a yard, 45 yards down the field is still not poor coverage. If you're going to force a guy to throw the ball, he has to throw a perfect one. I like what they're doing so far. John Jenkins has to regroup. He's going to have to get the ball off quicker so far.
Texas special teams with 5 block kicks this season. 2 punts, 3 field goals. Booming spiral. Boy, Samuels all the way back to the 30-yard line. Celtics take a break. Texas by 11. Don't miss it. It begins here on ESPN on Wednesday. You like the hoops, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to see it
Sit
get
down
started.
on the couch, watch the coaches and the action. And this time I even know some of the people doing the broadcast. I'll even talk about you.
Pete Gardere with an audible at the line of scrimmage. Dumps it out. That's Hadnot. And he will take it across the 42 to the 43. John W. Brown is there to make the hit.
Well, this young Houston defense, you know, they're starting 4 freshmen, true freshmen out on this team, this defense tonight, is starting to hold up. They've found their field so far, and they're starting to play a little bit more zone. They're not blitzing every play, and they're starting to give the Texas offense a few problems.
Breaks it again, and he is inside the 40. Jamie Mouton finally put the stopper on it.
Just a freshman. This guy was playing high school football last year. Butch Hadnot. Watch him. It's the sprint off tackle. He reads the hole. The blockers take him anywhere, but look at those legs. Oh, runs right through a guy. Keep the legs moving. Whoa, this guy's going to be here for 3 more years.
This is Chris Samuels. Takes it inside the 35, down to around the 32. Reggie Burnett at the bottom of the stack.
When we talked to Larry Coyer, defensive coordinator for Houston last night, he said one of the problems is in practice, they don't have a tight end. They don't run the ball, the Houston offense. So they don't see a type of offense like this day in and day out. It is very difficult for this team to prepare for different offenses, just like the Texas defense has to prepare for this run and shoot. It's just balanced on both sides, and there you see what the results so far.
Hit at the line of scrimmage, maybe has a yard. That's Eric Blunt, who came up to make the hit on him, the strong side linebacker. And now the Longhorns with a 3rd down. And let's see here, they need about 5. A lot of sophomore out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Blunt made a nice play there. He read the handoff, came in behind the blocking, and attacked the hole and got him in the backfield.
Gary, you're kind of in a tweener zone here with the 3rd down and 5, maybe just a little bit more. Good play.
But the nice thing is they can throw or run. I think you'll see some type of a short pass here to one of the guys crossing.
Gardere. Samuels can't hold on at the 22-yard line.
Got the matchup they wanted. Their option back, Samuels. He lined up as a wide receiver. Man-on-man coverage. He just comes out. Gardere's going to go back in the pocket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He realizes it's man-to-man. He knows he's got Samuels, makes the throw, puts it just a little high, but I know Samuels thinks he can catch those all night.
Michael Pollock to attempt the field goal, and this is going to be an attempt of 48 yards. His longest is 47, and that was in that Colorado game, which we did earlier this year here in Austin. And Houston has called a timeout. So there's a timeout. Let's take it with them. 21-10 our score with 3:15 left until halftime. Houston had called a timeout just before Klingler attempted the 48-yarder. If he hits it, it would be a career long. No good. To the right and short. Maybe tried to juice it up just a little bit too much. He's 15 of 18 now with the year, so it's 21-10 with 3:10 left until halftime. Who is number one? We have talked about, is there a dominant team this year? You give us the answer. There's the 900 number to call, 900-786-2255. Don't forget, it cost you 95 cents, but call the number and give a vote. Either Notre Dame, Colorado, Houston, Washington, Miami. Who is the number one team in the land? Klingler zips it over the middle, incomplete, and that ball, after was tipped, Lance Gunn had to go right through his hands. Here's the scoring summary. First quarter, Manny Hazard in the 23-yard pass from Klingler, then Hadnot with the 5-yard run, and we were tied at 7. Then Adrian Walker a 2-yard burst over the top, 14-7 Texas. Then the Horns made it 21-7. Hadnot with a 1-yard run. Then Roman Anderson with the 38-yard field goal, 21-10, and that's how we stand right now with 3:05 left until halftime. Klingler 7 of 22, 2 touchdowns, 151 yards. He has missed 6 in a row, Gary. Breaks the drought, has it complete. They step out of bounds immediately. Garza comes over to push Verlin Brown out of bounds. Verlin, only a junior from Forest City, Arkansas.
This time the Texas defense played a little soft man-to-man that time. They gave him the look of bump and run. They backed off. They gave him the short pass. You just can't give this team too many short passes, though, because they'll just back you right into the end zone.
Well, he stopped the clock. They'd run 2 plays and only used 10 seconds. Movement at the line of scrimmage, and you could see Tommy Jeter swing around in frustration for himself because he might have just given Houston the first down if he made contact.
Well, Leroy Truitt also moved. I think it was in response to Jeter.
If the defensive man moves first and then the offense, then you offset. But if contact is made,
offside, defense. The distance will make it a first down.
There's the first down.
So far tonight, there you see how David is throwing the ball. He's 5 for 7 under 9 yards, but look at how it goes down dramatically. And the reason is they've got a man on everybody. They're chasing him around. They're making David throw the perfect pass.
First down Houston from the 41. It is incomplete. And let's go back down to Neil Lomax and get an update. Neil?
Well, down here at Run and Shoot Central, I'll give you an update. Leon Fuller is so excited, Gary and Ron, about the defensive backs, the way they're playing. Update on Mark Berry, slightly separated shoulder. He went in the locker room. Don't know if he'll play the second half. With the defensive backs feel they got this one won with them shutting them down only for 7 points in the first half. Ron and Gary?
Well,
I don't know about
I'm sure they feel good right now. But I was about to say, this drive right here, I think, is a real big momentum situation.
Going
for both
into halftime, if they could get a stop right here, they would feel really good about it.
On the other hand, if Houston scores, it's huge as far as momentum to them.
I think they might have got a delay, or they had to take the timeout to avoid the delay of game there.
So Houston calls a timeout. The clock shows 2 minutes and 53 seconds left until halftime. as Klingler goes over to visit with John Jenkins, the first-year head coach for the Houston Cougars.
We had a great visit with John last night. I mean, this guy, he just puts everything in his life into his football team. He believes in the run and shoot. He's up every morning at 5 o'clock. He has quarterback meetings at 6:45. And his team is dedicated to this offense now, and that's really it. They believe in it, they've committed to it, and of course, you know, they've had such a great success. He told us yesterday that they don't even run in practice. They'll just throw maybe 250 straight passing plays and just rep. Very much like the wishbone teams used to run the wishbone play over and over again. Doesn't matter what the defense plays, they just have to do their job.
You know, speaking of wishbone, David Klingler was a wishbone quarterback in high school. And in fact, in one game this year, threw more passes than he did his entire senior year in high school.
Well, now I see why he has such a strong arm. He saved himself. You know, he just kept it until he got to college. The guy last night, Ron, was throwing rockets, 70 yards. He didn't even put any air under it. He's got as strong as arm as anyone I've ever seen.
But right now, what he needs to up is percentage. Gardere throwing a high percentage. Klingler, 8 of 23. Pressured out of the pocket and throws it incomplete. Shane Dronette was in very hot pursuit, and that's going to make it a third down situation.
Ron, this is the game plan that Texas is using tonight. They're going to line up 10 people near the ball. Now look at back here. This is what the quarterback falls in love with. All this space out here. That's where he wants to throw the ball. And when the ball is snapped, those guys are playing man-to-man coverage. But look, they're press bailing. They're latching on. Everybody's got a man down the sideline, and the pressure helps them.
Third down. Houston needs the Texas 49-yard line. Throwback screen, and Willie Mack Garza is right there to make the stop at the line of scrimmage. That is a great defensive play.
Came back with the throwback screen. The reason they're throwing so many of these screens is because of the pressure. And a nice job here. Also want to point out number 81, Shane Dronette here. He makes David lob the ball. Watch Dronette jump. And that gives time for Willie Mack to come up and beat the lineman out there because the ball can't get there just as fast as he wanted it to. Nice job by Shane Dronette reading that screen and jumping up.
Langston only his second punt. His first one good for 56, which, by the way, is his longest of the year. Chris Samuels tries to cut back inside, and he'll bring it to the 27. So the Longhorns will take it over with 1:48 left, and this is what we have next week. CFA Game Day at 11:30 a.m. with Chris Fowler and Mr. Corso and Ms. Hawks. And then after that, it's going to be Minnesota at Michigan. That's at 12:30 Eastern. Followed by Penn State at Notre Dame. Gary and I will be in South Bend for that one. 4 o'clock start. And then the night game, the third of the triple header, Georgia at Auburn. Old rivalry in the Southeastern Conference. Adrian Walker gets the pitch, turns the corner, steps out of bounds, and they're going to mark him out at the 34. Daniel Johnson is there defensively.
2 goals right now Texas should have offensively. Number 1 goal is to take a minute and 42 off this clock. They don't want to give Houston the ball back. 21-10, they go in, they have a mini celebration at halftime. Goal number 2, if they get it to the 50-yard line, then they start thinking 3 points. Let's not get greedy until we get in a position to score. Number 1 goal, remember, minute 42. Let's go into halftime 21-10.
The point that Mr. Danielson is making is with the kind of offense and the home run hitters, it just doesn't take very long. Peter Gardere with an audible. As you can see, Texas moving around.
Throw the quick hitch out to the receiver.
Wasn't there. Now going to run it wide open is Keith Cash.
Well, it doesn't come any better than this. You check off to a quick hitch. They take it away from you, misread it, nobody to throw to, and one of your receivers runs a hitch and go. Nice play by Keith Cash. Get you 10 yards in the open. You can't get any nicer than that. Now you're trying to run out the clock. You might put 7 more points on the board.
Keith Cash, 4 catches, 138 yards. Adrian Walker gets the block, turns it inside. Touchdown, Texas. Extra point by Pollock is good as Smoky sounds, and with 1:13 left until halftime, it is the Texas Longhorns 28 and Houston 10.
Right now, Phil Gardere reads that they've got 9 guys up in the box here. He's going to audible, but when he comes out, the men here drop into zones, and he gets away with calling a bad audible, but he stays with it. Good job here. 1, 2, 3. He wants to throw the hitch. It's zone. He misreads it, but a nice senior job by Keith Cash. He breaks it off, and he's down there for the big one. You know, you're thinking, let's run out the clock, let's not turn it over, and all of a sudden you got 7 points on the scoreboard. The touchdown play here. Little pitch action. Watch Hadnot, number 40. He's going to track, and he gets a block, and he runs it, pushes off into the end zone for Walker. 7 points the hard way.
Adrian Walker with his 6th touchdown of the year. He's a sophomore from Tyler, Texas. Home of another gentleman who was a very decent University of Texas Longhorn, the Tyler Rose, Earl Campbell.
Well, I'm very impressed with Butch Hadnot. I mean, he's as good as freshman running back as there is in the country. There's no doubt about that. But he's got some big shoes to fill with the Tyler Rose. So that guy is in a class by himself.
Good, fumbles the ball. That is alive. He's going to have to pick it up. And Good will be down at the 4-yard line. Bubba Moffitt there on the special teams. Coming up at halftime, the USF&G halftime report with Tim Brando and Lee Corso. Scores, also the bowl outlook, and who is number 1. And also a live interview with Don Myers of the Fiesta Bowl.
Hey, Ron, you know, we're going to test John Jenkins out. He said down and distance and time doesn't mean anything. Well, now there's 1:07 to go, and he's got the ball at his own 5-yard line. Let's see if he goes in at halftime and regroups or tries to fire from the 5 and put 7 points on the board. I think he's going to fire from the 5, don't you?
They really, wherever they are on the field, whether it's your 5 or their 5.
Texas giving him the same look.
Klingler overthrows.
From the near side of your screen right here, number 45, Robinson's going to get a run at him. Klingler just gets rid of it, but boy, he couldn't have held on to it 1 step longer, or he'd had a safety right there. That's the pressure that you can get if you're aggressive in the secondary. But remember, you don't have man-to-man cover, guys. You can't play this type of defense.
David McWilliams nervously looking on. Draw play to Witherspoon. Anthony Curl will knock him down as he crosses the 10. And now for Houston, it's going to be a 3rd down, and they need about 3.
This would be the situation against a normal team when you might consider taking a timeout if you're Texas and getting the ball back. But I don't think we're going to see any timeouts by the Texas defense.
Wonder what that signal is. You think maybe John is saying, let's get rid of the clock and go in at halftime and regroup?
Well, I would be throwing deep right here. It's a long way to go. You got a lot of field. Let it go.
Quick pass, incomplete. And now a punting situation for Houston with 21 ticks left on the clock.
Texas now will have an opportunity to kick a field goal. There's enough time. If they catch the ball around the 50 or 40-yard line, one completion, they still have plenty of timeouts left.
Langston averaging 46.5 yards per boot. Another booming spiral. Samuels from the 43. Goes down at the 47, and now there are 10 seconds left until halftime. So that time Langston did his job and did it very well to keep the Longhorns on their side of the 50-yard line with so little time left.
I know as a fan, most of the people now are thinking about go grabbing a hot dog or something, but as a quarterback, you look at 10 seconds, you say, well, I got a free throw here. I'm going to throw something around the 30-yard line. Maybe he busts a tackle. Maybe we get an opportunity to kick a field goal. As a quarterback, you're always attacking. You always think this is a chance to throw the football.
Gardere will go down on one knee, and David McWilliams says, let's don't take a chance. Clock runs down, and as they head to the locker room, it is Texas 28 and Houston 10. John Jenkins leading his troops off the field.
Ron, we thought the key to this game was, could the front four for Texas be able to put some pressure on David? They've done it so far.
Let's go down to Neil Lomax with head coach David McWilliams.
Well, Coach, pretty successful first half. Anything different you did defensively in practice to make you guys play this well?
No, really, we're doing the same thing we did all week, all year, really. Just adjusting it to the run and shoot. But, you know, we're getting good pressure up front and doing a pretty good job on Weatherspoon. He still broke some big ones on us, but playing well, but we know we got another half going, and they're an explosive football team.
What can you say in the second half to get these guys pumped up?
I don't think I have to say anything.
Jeez. Okay, have a good one in the second half. I'm going to go in the Houston locker room, Gary and Ron, and get their report after halftime. Back upstairs to you guys.
Okay, Neil, we'll look for that report. Let's take a break. Texas 28 and Houston 10.
Cherokee Sport with 4 doors, shift-on-the-fly 4-wheel drive, and a new high-output 4-liter engine.
Out of 28 throwing, Gardere 12 of 16, 223 yards. Rushing yardage, and Gary, I think this is huge. 124 yards that the Longhorns have been able to keep it on the ground. That also is time of possession.
2 points here. Texas throws for 223, which is more than Houston, and runs for enough yards to keep the clock. Let's also look at Weatherspoon. That was the key to the game, I thought. Weatherspoon had 29 yards rushing the ball, and that was much of that was on option. He caught a couple passes with the little shovel pass, but they've kept him in check.
Gary, another thing to keep an eye on in the second half. Tracy Good is the leading receiver for Houston with 55 catches for 484 yards. He didn't have a reception in the first half.
Man coverage, pressure defense, they get into his space. They're not allowing. David Klingler has only completed 3 passes over 10 yards tonight. He's 7 for 10 under 9 yards, but between 10 and 19, 20 and 29, and 30 plus, he's 3 for 18. That's good pressure. When you get time and get somebody in his face, he's having to throw strikes down there. There's already somebody there.
Roman Anderson to kick it off. And we are about ready to get this second half underway. Texas on top by 18. Relatively short. This is going to come down to Samuels at the 13. Out close to the 30-yard line is Pardee is there to make the stop. And if the name sounds familiar, yep, his daddy is the head football coach of the Houston Oilers now. Former head coach with the Houston Cougars. Ted Pardee, a junior out of Houston St. Thomas. And Pete Gardere, who put up some awfully impressive numbers in that first half, comes back on to lead the offense.
You know, Ron, in my career, many times I was faced very much like Gardere. When I matched up like a Joe Montana or against a Neil Lomax, everybody talked about that guy. But as Gardere, he says, I'm not going to be the short stick around here. I'm going to have a night. I'm not going to let my team down. And he's done it in the first half.
Well, he was 6 of 7 in the second period. Running play, and that goes nowhere. Is Burnett, 88, one of the first men to step in there and make contact on the running play. Also, Jason Youngblood. You can see number 98 getting off the stack. Jason, a sophomore from Refugio. That's the same town that Willimac Garza is from, and that's the one we talked about. Refugio is spelled R-E-F-U-G-I-O. Probably as mispronounced as any city in Texas, wouldn't you think?
I'm glad you're handling those, Ron.
Gardere on the sprint out. Has it complete. It's Keith Cash again. And I'll tell you what, number 11 has been all over this field.
One of the matchups tonight that Texas felt very, very positive was their offensive line matched up against the Houston offensive line. You want to know why? They've got a 30-pound advantage. Look at the offense. 6'4", 277 versus 6'1", 247. They feel they can run the ball when they want, and when they want to pass block, they can push and push and push and give Peter time to throw the ball.
Keith Cash now 5 catches, 153 yards. Gardere has the isolation. There's Kerry Cash, the twin brother, and he is pushed out of bounds at the 27-yard line by Jerry Parks.
A little bit of a sucker play right here. They're going to fake the pitch to the left side of your screen, and then Peter's going to delay a little bit. The offensive line is going to sell the run play. Offensive line, number 19, the bottom of your screen is going to hit into him a little bit and then loop behind. Peter comes out a little bit on a naked, loops it over, and they got a big play. They're on the 27-yard line again. Boy, the two twins, the two Cash twins, they are some weapons.
Samuels breaks off one tackle, takes it inside the 25, and he'll spot him out at the 22. Trey Hooper defensively.
You know why Chris Samuels is so valuable? When he's in the backfield, the Houston defense doesn't know if he's going to line up as a wide receiver, come out of the backfield as a receiver, or now tonight, he had 61 yards at halftime. With that carries up to 68. So he's keeping by himself. His versatility is keeping the Houston defense off balance.
Butch Hadnot over the right side, takes the tackler with him to the 15-yard line. That's McCoy, the freshman from Beaumont. And that is a Texas first down.
Well, the two freshmen end up meeting here, but watch Butch Hadnot. He's as good as reading the block, and he runs, he bounces, he jumps to his right, and he's under the linebackers. And there's the two freshmen guys. They're going to meet, but push, push, push. A very successful play, 1st and 10 again.
Not to the left side. Inside the 10, he's down to the 7. Jerry Parks comes up from his free safety position. Chuck Johnson with a good block to pave the way.
There you see him signal them in. The two guys that are standing in the way right there, the backup quarterbacks, are blocking the signals from the opposite sideline so nobody can steal them.
Troy Kokomore, as you look across the way at Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator for the Houston Cougars. Hadnot. And he is in for the touchdown. Michael Pollock makes it 35, Texas to 10.
One of the things that's happened all day is they've been running the pitch wide. This time, the left guard and left tackle come down right here, and they're going to block. And Hadnot does a nice job of reading the blocking again and coming behind the blocks. Now watch him. Tell me, Ron, if he doesn't look like Earl Campbell on this one. Takes the defensive guy in and pushes. That's vintage Earl Campbell right there. Running into the end zone, running over whatever he has to score that touchdown. 3 of them for the freshman tonight.
The Longhorn fans are enjoying it right now with 12:45 left in the 3rd period.
You know, at halftime, John Jenkins said, you know, we're 3 scores away from getting a lead in this game, but that's exactly what he did not want to happen, is Texas to come out and not get a stop from his defense the first series, and now he's looking at being behind 25 points.
Trey Hooper, defensive tackle for the Houston Cougars, getting a breather on the far side. 3 touchdowns for Hadnot. That is a career high for the freshman. Pollock's pick is going to come down to good at the 6. They fake the reverse, good to the outside, and Tubbs will knock him out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Coming up tomorrow here on ESPN, it all starts at noon Eastern Time, game day, with Chris Berman and the guys, and then NFL primetime at 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow evening. And then immediately following that, it is the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann up in Dallas.
Well, David Klingler is being talked about being a Heisman candidate, and if he can pull this game out tonight, he's going to win the Heisman Trophy, I'll predict, because if he brings them behind 35-10, there's going to be a lot of people see a great, fantastic comeback.
Throws it back, and a hit. That's the first catch for Tracy Good tonight, as Cavness came up and stuck him pretty good. He's a sophomore from Willow Ridge.
Brady Cavness is doing what the Texas defensive backs have been doing all night. If someone catches the ball, they've been coming up, wrapping up, and making tackle. No big plays after the catch. No, you're not going to stop everyone every time. They're going to catch the ball. But let's tackle the guy and let's make it 2nd and 5, 6, 7, and 8. They've been successful with it.
Had the ball tipped at the last moment by Gunn, and if he catches it, he's gone for the distance.
We're going to ice a win on Manny Hazard for this time. Got a replay of him going up the hash. This time it's a little bit of a man coverage, outside technique. There he is, right down the hash. Let's see if Gunn gets his hand on this. No, he doesn't, but shields him enough. Manny, if he catches that one, it changes the scoreboard 7 points. Houston. Nice throw by David right there.
Houston 4 of 12 in 3rd down conversions. They need the 35-yard line. Over the middle, knocked down, almost intercepted by Cavness.
Right here, Lance Gunn is the key. Both of the cornerbacks are playing outside technique, and they're trying to force the throw into Gunn. When the ball is thrown, Gunn is able to read the quarterback. See him down the seams? Klinger with a nice look off, but Cavness breaks inside and could have intercepted the pass.
Langston's punt. This one doesn't turn over, and is now going to take a Houston bounce and comes down out of bounds around the 30-yard line. Texas 35-10. We'll be right back. Today, Houston versus Texas is brought to you by GMAC, helping America put GM quality on the road. And by Campbell's Chunky Soup, the satisfying stop that keeps you going. That's a shot down at the concession stand. People loading up on the dogs and the soft drinks. And I'll tell you, with run and shoot offense, Houston plays games that are 4 hours long sometimes. You need that added nourishment.
The concessionaires love these games. Big salesman.
Phil Brown is knocked down by Trey Hooper. Broke the initial tackle, then winds up with a gain of a couple. You know, Gardere, maybe the situation, the night, and the big crowd, you know, added to extra butterflies because he got off to a slow start. 1 of 4, 1 interception for 7 yards, and since then has thrown 13 of 14, 260 yards. Oh.
I'd say that's being hot.
Clark, the tight end, close to the first down as McCoy knocks him out of bounds, and from where they have spotted it, it would appear that he hasn't.
Peter is in such control of himself right now. He's not trying to force anything. Of course, with a 25-point lead, he doesn't have to. And I'm sure that's what Lynn Amity has told him. Let's not fall in love with the deep pass. Let's move the chains. Lynn said our offense is a 5-yard offense. 5 yards at a time is our goal.
If this were a basketball game, we would be talking about the tempo and who it's in favor of. And the tempo is in favor of Texas.
No doubt about it. They've been able to control the line of scrimmage with the bigger offensive line, and their running backs have been, all 4 of them, have been so successful tonight that they've kept the Houston defense off balance. Walker, Brown, Hadnot, Samuels.
That was Walker for 3.
You know, Ron, I hate to say it, but before those people start calling anymore 900, maybe there's a 900 number you can call in and vote for somebody that's not on the list, because if Texas wins this game 45-10 or 50-17, they're going to move up to the top 5 in the country, I'll predict, in the voting come Monday. This is an impressive victory if they can hold on and finish a game that they're in total control of right now.
10:50 left, third period. And now Gardere turns to Wendell Sheldon, the referee, and says, I want a timeout. Let's go down to Neil Lomax, who is on the Houston side of the field right now.
Well, both Coach John Jenkins and Klinger have been over here trying to boost up morale with the slap backs, the inside receivers, outside receivers. If they're going to come back, Ron and Gary, win this football game, these gentlemen right here on this bench got to start catching some passes. And Mr. Klinger has got to start throwing those balls to him and complete them, because he's had a horrendous, really, a second half right now. Back up to you guys.
Well, Ron, you know, that's what sometimes is so, you know, the Heisman Trophy is a stat award. And that's what's so hard sometimes, because as a quarterback, you're depending on 5 offensive linemen to give you time to throw the ball. Tonight, David has not had time to do the thing he does best, is throw the ball on timing. And that's sometimes when you get looking at these stats, you got to have matchups and take advantage of them. No one can throw the ball when you're backpedaling all night and not being able to set and throw a pass.
David McWilliams, as he said just at the end of the first half to Neil Lomax, was that Texas was not going to try to junk up their defense, that he thought that a lot of teams made a mistake of doing that and doing something they were not familiar with. So far, it has worked extremely well.
And subtly, what he told his team is, I believe in you. I don't have to change or trick up anything. I think you guys are good enough to win the game with what we're doing already.
Flag goes down. Adrian Walker takes it for the first down, but that marker is thrown by the umpire, and that could be offensive holding. Hooper and Blunt in the tackle, and that's what it's going to be, holding against the Longhorns.
Texas offensive line has done a great job tonight, both pass blocking and push blocking on the runs, and they have had very few penalties.
Holding by the offense. Repeat, second down.
See if we can find the middle of the screen here and see if we can see who held on it. Can't really tell. Obviously, somebody saw it. Referee threw it right in it, very emphatically threw it into the middle of the pile. And this is in pro football. They don't have to name anybody, so we'll just assume. We'll give it a team hold on that one.
The line to make is the Houston 49-yard line with a second down. Brown. Daniel Johnson makes the stop on him, and Texas comes close to picking back up the initial line of scrimmage, and now it's going to be third down.
You know what's so impressive about Peter Gardere is last week he started out 0 for 6 and ended up 14 for 27. He's very much in control of his emotions. You know, all week he had to hear about David Klingler. He knew everybody was looking at him. Can you match up? Well, he didn't think he could match up statistically, but he has tonight. A career high 284 yards passing.
Houston shows blitz. They come with it. Pass is almost intercepted by Parks. Stephen Clark was the intended receiver.
They came with the safety blitz. Peter was ready to throw it long before Clark looked. I think Clark misread it. He has to break it off. That was too long to stand and wait on a safety blitz.
Alex waits, and look who is back in single safety. Chuck Weatherspoon, the fullback.
How many fullbacks do you see returning punts? Get his hands on the ball just like the Rocket.
Bounces straight in the air and now is going to go dead around the 26-yard line. So let's take a timeout. Texas 35 and Houston 10. 91 college basketball season tips off at ESPN. Boy, what a great field. Marquette at Duke, Vanderbilt at Arkansas. That's the opening night doubleheader. Klingler throws it back, complete, and the tackle made by Cavness as soon as the ball was there. Tracy Good on the receiving end.
He is brought down by number 21, Grady Cavness. Line of scrimmage just across the 31.
It's going to be a gain of about 6 yards in the play. Second down and around 4.
There you see John Jacobs. Even though they go without a huddle, he signals the plays in.
Draw play to Weatherspoon. Hit down Anthony Curl, blasting to the turf at the 34-yard line. And it's going to be third down Houston, and they need the 36-yard line.
When we talked to David McWilliams, he said Anthony Curl was so valuable because he's 202 pounds, but plays like a linebacker, can cover people. Look at that. Last 4 drives, 12 yards. Whoa. Run and shoot, wishbone, doesn't really matter what kind of defense. If you can't block, you're in trouble. When you get outmanned by the front 5, you have problems.
Klingler dropped the football. He makes the recovery, but Houston will have to punt again. Curl and Jeter were there. Charles Langston in to punt. Again, it's Chris Samuels as the D-back. 4 kicks for an average of 45 yards per boot. Samuels breaks it outside. And he is to the 47-yard line. Newhouse was there to make the tackle.
Chris Samuels is having a game he's going to remember the rest of his life. This time he's on the punt return. Goes left. Reads it. Most of this he's doing by himself right now. Cuts back. He has got feet that can go right, left, accelerate, stop, go the other way. That's why he's so tough to cover coming out of the backfield. This guy could be a sleeper playing on Sunday next year, Ron. He's a very valuable player.
Big enough?
Hey, if you can get open, you're big enough.
Blitz coming from Houston as flags come down. Looks as though procedure will be called against the Longhorns. I go back to the point that we made just a bit ago. That's it, procedure against Texas. And that is tempo of the ball game. As David McWilliams continues to pace in the sideline, his Longhorns leading by 25 points. But the tempo of the game, since Houston has gotten the ball and had to punt twice already in the third period, it is uncharacteristic of what the Cougar offense has to face. And the tempo has been with Texas.
Just like a basketball game. They have controlled the tempo. It's to their advantage.
Kerry Cash at the 45-yard line of Houston. Daniel Johnson is there defensively. Short of the first down by about 2.
When we visited with Lynn Amity on Thursday before practice, he just could not stop talking about all the weapons he had on offense. This time it's Kerry Cash. Gardier's going to fake a little bootleg action. He rolls to his left and he looks for the big tight end. What a target. 6'4", puts it in his stomach. That guy's not going to get knocked down by those little defensive backs without falling forward.
Hadnot on the carry. Breaks it open, has the first down, has 5 more, has 10 more. He's to the 25.
Huh. Wow. I have not seen a running back accelerate through a secondary guy since Earl Campbell like Hadnot is right now. Those 4 defensive backs have got a problem. Left side of the line makes this go right here, though.
Look at his headgear. He's got red all over it. That's what is his weapon.
Chris Samuels on the right side of your screen ties up Burnett, Hadnot reads it. He breaks back. Let's salute Todd Smith, the center, number 50, number 53. But he accelerates when someone comes to make the tackle. Like the big Earl.
Hadnot goes for 3, maybe 4 yards. It's Reggie Burnett, the senior from Rayville, Louisiana, who is there to make the stop for the Houston Cougars.
You know, this Houston defense is a young defense, and they're going to get better next year and the year after. They're going to be a much improved team. But the Texas offense is hitting on all cylinders tonight. They're using 4 backs. They're using 4 receivers. And that would be a problem for any defense, not just a young injured defense that Larry Coyer is going to have to try to make better as the years go on.
Well, what was it that Amity said? He told the offense, he said, guys, the defense has saved us twice this year. This week, it's your turn. Hadnot breaks it open at the 10, at the 5, to the 1.
Chris Samuels again. The offensive line is pushing Ron. Chris Samuels fits into somebody, and Hadnot breaks in. And Ron, this has to remind you of the great Earl Campbell. He accelerates through those defensive backs. Those guys get tired of seeing a big fullback come in full speed like that.
He just went over 100 yards with that. He's the first Texas back to go over 100 yards this season. Gets the handoff, and he is not going to get in the end zone this time. Stopped as Jason Youngblood is down at the bottom of the pile, along with Carlos Leon.
In college football this year, Robert Smith, the great tailback from Ohio State, has been getting a lot of press as the top freshman running back. But I believe Hadnot right now is opening a lot of eyes that he says, move over, I'm the man, move over, Robert Smith.
16 carries, 107 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Hadnot. Clock runs with 5:10 left in the third period. The Longhorns with a second down and goal, less than a yard away. Stop short of the goal line again as the Houston defense rises up, and it's Eric Blunt down at the bottom along with Trey Hooper. You can see how close that football is. The nose right on the edge, not quite to the line.
Defensive coordinator Larry Coyer said his Houston defense, his young players would never give up. They were going to play all night. They would attack, and do the best they could. They'd hang on and play the toughest game all the way. He said he's never seen a defensive group work as hard as these guys.
Hadnot doesn't get in. Daniel Johnson is in there somewhere, and he made the hit. You could see the frustration by Stephen Clark. And now the crowd turning to coaching. They say go for it on 4th down.
Here you see the short yardage play. Samuels and number 23 and 11. And there you see Hadnot. The hit comes in from off the quarterback corner. Daniel Johnson gets him in the backfield.
Stopped him before he got into his lead.
Before he could get it. Big decision here. Should they go for it or not? A field goal puts them up by 28 points.
Fourth down. Crowd will tell you. Chris Samuels takes it in.
Said a field goal put him up by 28, but a touchdown puts him up by 32, and he good for the touchdown. We're going to check a replay on this. They have been successful short yardage. Give the credit to the offensive line. Score with your defensive man. Push, push, push. This time Hadnot provides the block. He scores first, and then they put the 7 points in behind him. Chris Samuels finds it.
Michael Pollock, the senior from Austin, puts it down as Smoky sounds again. 42 for Texas and 10 for the Houston Cougars, the number 3 ranked team in the nation. Well, speaking of rankings, let's take a look at the top 10 and who is number 1. Well, this is what has happened today. Notre Dame came from behind and won over a good Tennessee team in Knoxville. Washington was upset by UCLA. The Cougars, jury is still out on this one, but getting closer. Colorado defeated Oklahoma State. Miami idle this week. Now for the next 5, it's Iowa losing to Ohio State. They're 7-2. Georgia Tech, and I mean barely wins over Virginia Tech. BYU won handily over Wyoming. Tennessee lost to Notre Dame, and Florida won in the big Tea Party down in Jacksonville.
With every stop the Texas defense provides, there you see Rick Bruce with the big night. And every touchdown they score, Texas passes another team. They're at number 6 right now. They're moving to number 5 with that last touchdown. Let's see who else they can pass tonight.
Butch Hadnot. Caught at the 6-yard line by Cody Smith. Up the middle, breaks it open at the 25, and now out to the 32-yard line. And let's go down to Neil. He's in the picnic area, understand.
Yeah, guys, you know, I told you the run and shoot would score a lot of points, but it's actually Texas and Peter Gardere that's putting on a good impersonation of run and shoot. This game, guys, is almost 3 hours old already. I'm going to have my own little Texas barbecue. I got some nachos, jalapenos, some popcorn, peanuts. I'm waiting on some hot dogs. I ordered some. Hey, where's my hot dogs, guys? Hey, it's going to be a long one. Usually it takes about 3.5 hours for Houston to play, but right now Texas is doing a great job. I'm going to start eating some of this stuff, guys.
We got the good assignment tonight.
Weatherspoon hit at the line of scrimmage, and that's Oscar Giles, number 95, who is there defensively for the Longhorns. Houston tries to cross up the Horns on first down and runs the fullback for no gain. Going long, far sideline overthrown. Willie Mack Garza had the cover over there. Number 81, Marcus Grant, the sophomore from Dallas Carter.
Good coverage by Willie Mack. David has to keep that ball in the playing field, though. You know, you're not going to complete a lot of passes throwing them outside the down marker. You've got to give your receiver a chance to catch the ball. Keep it within the down markers. 11 for 33 now. 496 yards total offense for Texas.
Klingler, 11 of 33, 2 touchdowns, or 2 interceptions, 164 yards. Zings it incomplete. Craig Alexander was the intended receiver, and that's the position you were talking about that you can't throw from.
Hard to throw horizontal, that's for sure.
It was Oscar Giles who was pressuring him, and Langston comes in to punt again.
Number 95, Oscar Giles right here is going to go around. He beats him to the outside, the spin move inside, and David understands. Every pass he's thrown tonight, he's gotten knocked down after he's thrown the ball. That plays on your mind. It quickens your tempo. You throw a little bit sooner than you want to because you feel that rush all night.
Langston's kick off the side of his foot, and that goes out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, the defending world champions, San Francisco 49ers in Dallas against Jimmy Johnson's Dallas Cowboys. Our situation, 2:58 left in the third. Texas 42-10 over Houston. Gardere, quick pass, has it complete to tight end Stephen Clark. Jerry Parks makes the tackle.
So nice to be in control like this. You know if you dial a run, it works. You know if you dial play action pass, it works. You just drop back, you just look to the side like, coach, what play am I going to win with this time? On the opposite side, you can't dial anything. Coaches look around, he looks down his game plan. Listen, we can't block him, we can't stop him. I can't dial any defenses. I can't help you guys, you're on your own.
Bill Brown. He breaks the tackle and takes it to the 36-yard line as Daniel Johnson had to come up from a strong safety position.
I get the feeling right now like the Texas offense and defense, they're like sharks in it. You know, they smell blood. They're in a feeding frenzy. They just want the ball. They want to get both teams. They want to get back out on the field. I bet the defense is standing up there by the line. They just keep building and building. Look at the numbers. I know the Houston guys, I mean, I'm glad the numbers aren't on the board. They're embarrassed by this. They've had a great year, and now they've got to suffer through this type of a game.
Counteraction. That'll go for a couple of yards as Ryan McCoy steps up to make the hit along with Blunt.
Let's not take this as any indictment against the run and shoot thing. The run and shoot has its merits. You still personnel. You've got to have the players. You know, John Jenkins knows that. This was a little bit of a surprise year for him this year.
Reggie Burnett
is going out, their big linebacker, with that ankle. They've only got 10 guys on the field also.
Gardere throws it complete to Clark at the 31-yard line. I think they got the 11th on, I believe.
Did they get 11?
Yeah.
They need 12.
I did a quick count.
They need 12, though, Ron. That's the only problem tonight.
Burnett injured the ankle, only worked out one day this week. He is described as the heart and soul of that Houston defense.
On the sideline right now, the Texas players are saying, remember the last years, how they scored and scored on us. We want to keep ringing up that scoreboard like a cash register. Let's keep putting it on, putting points on the board.
Chad McMillan, number 77, is coming at right guard, replacing Jeff Boyd. Gardere going to do it himself. Steps out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Tracy Gentry ran him out, but that's enough for the Texas first down.
We asked offensive coordinator Lynn Amity, what were some of the problems? What did Peter Gardere do wrong when he wasn't playing well? He said occasionally he fell in love with trying to throw the ball to Walker because he's so explosive. When he reads out his game plan and does it properly, he has been very effective this year. And you can see, judged by tonight, he doesn't make the big mistakes.
Houston comes with the blitz, and the man who picks it up is the running back. That's the thing that I remember so well is when the running back gets the ball and he's the one that picks up the blitz.
Right.
And boy, he got belted.
When you got to block with the ball, it's not a successful play. You know, Houston is now selling out. They're bringing 8, 9 people on the rush, and if you pop it through the line right now, you're into the secondary. No one's going to catch you because they're playing man in the secondary. Any running play that breaks the line of scrimmage is going to score.
Clock just whistled in. That should be the last play of the third period, and Texas is not going to press the issue. Gardere unsnaps the headgear. It comes over as the 4 fingers go in the air. That's the end of the third period with our score, Texas 42 and Houston 10. Gardere looks long, incomplete. Mike Davis. Let's go back to the 900 number. Who is number 1? You call and give us your opinion. There it is, 900-786-2255. Notre Dame with 32% right now. Colorado right behind at 31. 95 cents per call. There's the 900 number. Ring it up. Pete Gardere with a 3rd down and 10 from the Houston 23.5-yard line. Incomplete as the receivers kind of ran together down there, and Michael Pollock will come on to attempt a field goal. This one in the vicinity of 40 yards. Pollock 15 of 18 on the season. He missed earlier in the ball game. Out of the hold of Mark Murdoch.
Well, that puts it at 35, meaning 5 touchdowns, and they're also going to have to go for 2 in the 4th quarter. I don't even think the run and shoot can do that.
Let's go down to Neil Lomax on the sideline for an injury update.
All right, guys, for an injury update, Todd Smith, the center for Texas, is taken in the locker room to get x-rays on his ribs. But the big story really is Reggie Burnett, who came into this game, guys, with 12 sacks. He's been working out there all game long with almost like a broken ankle, but he's been hanging in there. He's told me that doesn't feel too good, but he's going to continue to play. That's the story from down here, guys.
14:46 left in the ball game. Texas leading 45-10.
You know, Reggie staying in there and hanging in there with that ankle. With the score 45-10, a lot of guys would be checking it over to the bench and just saying, I can't go anymore. You got to salute a guy like that. He's out there playing. He's going to finish with his guys, his teammates, and finish out the game. That's why this Houston team is going to be so tough to deal with in the future.
Michael Pollock will kick off.
Michael Pollock kicks it off. Cody Smith at the goal line. Steps back out of the field, and that is a touchback.
Well, that could be a safety. Whoa. Let's check this one on instant replay here. This is where you need some help from your teammates. Somebody's got to say you're in the end zone. If both feet come out. Let's take a peek right here. He catches the ball. He comes out. No, he never got both feet out of the end zone. A proper call.
Yep. Both feet did not come out of the end zone, and that's the reason for the touchback.
You know what, though? He's fortunate because he didn't know if both feet came out.
Klingler. Oh, does he get hit as the pass is completed to Hazard? As Klingler is down at the 13-yard line. He really took a shot from Bo Robinson.
Bo Robinson's going to come, number 45, around the outside. He's going to beat number 79, Leroy Truitt. He's got to run at David now, and he never breaks stride. You know, run and shoot, when you throw the ball every game, 50 times, every game, you take so many hits through the course of the game. They haven't given David the short ones. Look, he got cuts on his arm, elbows, but he's going to finish it out. He's tough. He's got to tell his team, we're going to finish on the field together.
Weatherspoon, Snead, the first guy to hit him, then came Jones. Let's take a look at possessions in this ball game. Since the second quarter field goal, and if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3 downs and out, I can't remember the last time that the University of Houston had that kind of situation where 3 downs and out.
I will say in the last 2 years they have never had that type of a situation.
Klingler drills it complete for the first down. It is caught at the 35, and 89, Craig Alexander, the junior from Jacksonville, moves it out to the 37. Van Malone there defensively for the Longhorns.
Nice timing on this one. David steps back, gets a little protection, and rips it out there. First down
since the second quarter. Back over the middle, complete to Hazard. In the open field, breaks off one tackle and then takes it across midfield. And let's go to Tim Brando.
Well, for those of you that are raking leaves and aren't living in closets, look at this. Notre Dame beats Tennessee 34-29, and Penn State a winner today over Maryland. Final score 24-10. You'll see Penn State Notre Dame at 4 p.m. Eastern Time next week. By the way, Penn State out of the picture in the Sunkist Fiesta Bowl, guys, as Don Myers told us at halftime. The out for them could be the Blockbuster Bowl. They didn't want to play Texas in the Cotton Bowl, and that was part of the mix with the Fiesta. Back to you guys.
Our situation, 12:35 left in the ball game. Texas 45-10. Klingler going to take it to the outside. Picks up the first down and steps out of bounds at the 35.
Klingler again with his ability to just get out of the pocket. Rushing has been his big forte tonight.
8 for 41 yards for
41 yards rushing. You know, John Jenkins has said you really can't stop this offense, but you can with a pass rush. You can stop any pass offense with a pass rush. And that's been the story of the game so far.
Double pass incomplete. Shane Dronette was all over Klingler, and one of the reasons it was incomplete. Dronette's the young man who had 5 sacks against Texas Tech just last week.
This time it's going to be the shuffle pass, near side. Number 81, Shane Dronette, the bottom of the screen. He comes up. They're going to let him go. That's part of the play, to let him go. But he keeps going and throws him on the ground again. That's what you got to do, like a body puncher in a boxing. Just keep throwing him down and throwing him down. It adds on to the wear and tear.
2nd and 10. Incomplete. Tracy Good was looking where he was going to run before he caught it. Texas bringing in a couple of fresh defensive tackles as Tommy Jeter comes back in, and also Todd Hunt, a sophomore from Richardson.
When you watch the run and shoot on film, that's what you usually see 10, 12, 15, 20 times a game even. Those short pop passes to the outside when the rush doesn't even have a chance. Texas has taken away that play from the run and shoot tonight.
3rd down. Cougars need the 25. Pass is caught at the 14-yard line, and Klingler got belted again by, this time, Oscar Giles. Good for 23 yards on the completion. Boy, Gary, how many hits like that can he take?
You want to play big-time college football and you want to play quarterback, this is what it's like. You drop back, you let it go, you get a completion. But believe me, you just got run over by a guy that weighs 6'3", 246. You know what David did? He got up, got in the huddle, and called another play. Bravo.
9th play of the drive coming up.
You don't get any hit any harder than that.
And walk away from it. Caught at the 8-yard line. Ball is fumbled, and let's see. Texas says they have it. No signal from the official.
They're going to call him down, it looks like.
They're going to call him down at the 6-yard line. Brian Jones made the hit.
Patrick Cooper is going to get the catch here. Nice throw underneath the rush. Cooper goes up, turns in, gets hit. Should have been a fumble. Grady Cavanagh gets on the ball and gets it, but it should have been a fumble. Hey, Houston deserves a break.
Pass incomplete. Just as Garza turned around, Verlin Brown had the ball coming at him and he couldn't hold on. Take a look at this as far as the quick strikes. The number of times, like under 30 seconds, Houston has scored 8 times this year. 8 more times in 59 seconds or less, and minute and a half, 12 times this season.
I've never seen a stat like that watching pro or college football as long as I've been watching football. Great stat, guys.
Option play. Weatherspoon will score.
Number 28.
Weatherspoon scores, but let's give credit to Klingler here. They're going to have to even go for 2. He fought him all the way down the field. He got hit, and he got hit, and then he runs the option on the goal line to get him through. David, great job. You know, he's not even only making a mark tonight. They may not win this football game, but believe me, everybody on this football team is keeping their eyes on this guy, a leader for next year, and saying, you know, if David can play with this type of pressure, we got to be able to play when we're behind. Anybody can play when they're ahead. He's showing he can play when the game is out of reach.
Houston will go for a pair. Down 45-16. Did he get in? Yes. Giles and Dronette were hot after him. Take another look at it.
First, the 2-point conversion. He's going to drop back, rolls to his left. He's got the fade. He doesn't think he can get it in. Now it's a sprint. He dives and reaches the ball out. All you got to do is get it across the pylon. Nice play right there. Now the touchdown. Option to the left. He reads it. Giles comes in, pitches it back. You're walking in.
Saturday, Houston versus Texas is brought to you by Howard Johnson. Where are you going this fall? Well, go anywhere and get it on the fall sale at Howard Johnson. Call 1-800-I-GO-HOJO. And by Thrifty Car Rental. Because it's your money. Call 1-800-for-CARS or your travel consultant. Ron Franklin, Gary Danielson here at Memorial Stadium in Austin, Texas. And 11:02 left to play in the ball game. Texas 45 and Houston 18 as the Longhorns put out the good hands team. They are looking for the onside kick. 2 deep men, but Walker and Samuels have only dropped off to around the 20-yard line. And you see the 9 players, lots of linebackers and receivers and defensive backs in that 5-yard barrier between the 45 and the 50-yard line. Anderson kicks it away. Adrian Walker knocked down at the 26-yard line. Let's go for another update with Tim Brando. Tim.
Ron, we're still bowling for dollars despite the scores we're about to show you. Stanford leading Arizona 14-10. There you see it at the half. And Tulane knocking off Syracuse today 26-24. Marcia Turner, who is the bowl chairman of the Aloha Bowl, has confirmed for us that these 2 teams are still the front runners. Now, Syracuse is 5-3-2. If Arizona were to lose, they would be 6-4. Syracuse still has West Virginia next week. According to Turner, they better win if they want to be where the grass skirts are on Christmas Day.
All right, Jimmy.
That's plenty of incentive.
Option play by Gardier. Bill Brown turns the corner out close to the 29-yard line. And you'll see Texas, if they can continue to run the football, and they have all night this evening, really try to keep it on there right now and just take time off the clock. Texas using to great advantage Adrian Walker, Phil Brown, Chris Samuels, and of course Butch Hadnot, the freshman out of Kirbyville, Texas, who has 3 touchdowns on the evening. Brown hit as soon as he gets the football. That is Eric Blunt. And let's go down to Neil Lomax on the sideline. Neil.
Well, Gary, what we were saying earlier was so true. I'm really, really impressed with Klingler's performance. I know he doesn't have the numbers that he would like or the score, but this kid is hanging in there. As you mentioned, he's taking a lot of shots. Physically, he's just beat up, but he's coming over here and he had his hand in his house. Hey, let's go get him, guys. Let's go get him. I'll tell you what, both you and I have been in this situation, be down by 3 or 4 touchdowns. This guy's really hanging in. I'm really impressed with this young man. Back to you guys.
3rd down and 11 for Texas. And the guy taking the snap right here has also distinguished himself tonight, hasn't he? Gardier running for his life. Terry Cash at the 25, and he'll score. And a marker is down back at the line of scrimmage.
He may have passed the line of scrimmage, but
I don't
what a
think
play.
so. The comeback block, I don't know if they're going to call clipping or what, but it's thrown right in the vicinity where a lineman came back to help pick up a block. You're right. They're going to say he's beyond the line of scrimmage.
It was so close. He escaped the rush so well. That was the tight end, gentlemen, but he went down there and beat it for the touchdown. Let's check and see if he's over. Watch. He feels the pressure. Now he spins out to the right side. Now he's running. Now should he run, pass, run, pass? Oh, there's the tight end for the touchdown. The ball was spotted behind the 25-yard line. He threw the ball right at the 25.
The ball was thrown beyond the line. 5-yard penalty and loss of down. It'll be 4th down.
So Gardier, that's a loss of down because of the illegal forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage. You know, in the past, you could go beyond the line of scrimmage and then come back and throw the football. You can't do that anymore as of this year.
He did make a great play escaping out of the rush, though, and finding someone downfield. When he scrambles, he just doesn't run. He looks, finds somebody, and the receivers, Cash, did a great job of breaking his route again.
Weatherspoon, the deep man, hit out of bounds as he crosses the 40-yard line. Let's take a timeout. 45, Houston 18, 9:02 left to play in the ballgame. Klingler goes up top, and it is intercepted by Gunn at the 5-yard line. Well, Leon Fuller, the defensive coordinator for the Texas Longhorns, has got to be very, very pleased with the effort of his youngsters tonight.
Lance Gunn has been playing center field all the time. You see him just go out of your camera on the bottom in the middle, but he reads his eyes. He's playing center field now. Run back, get the fly ball. Nice catch, Lance. Way to go back and get it. Yep, pop up.
Second interception for him tonight.
They've had 5 turnovers now, Houston. 3 interceptions and 2 fumbles.
Not back in the ball game. He takes it for a couple on the left side. Trey Hooper defensively. As we take a look at the storyline and what has it been here in Austin tonight. Hadnot 107 yards, 3 touchdowns. Klingler only 16 of 43 for 228. That's a season low for him. Total yards, U of H 306, Texas 530. And folks, take a look at time of possession. I talked about tempo in the ball game. There is your tempo right there. And one of the reasons that the run and shoot has had problems getting off the ground tonight. Chris Samuels spins off one tackler and brings it out to the 9. It's going to be 3rd down as Alan Aldridge is there defensively. Allen's a freshman out of Missouri City.
This Houston defense, though, they're playing, they're flying, they're running to the ball. They're going to finish the game. They're taking it from their leader, David Klingler. He's not going to quit. These guys can't quit. They're going to run, and go. You know, David has had his season lows tonight, and he came in with unbelievable yards, 3,009, whatever, how many yards, and he was a leader for the Heisman candidate. But believe me, I'm more impressed with what a guy does in a losing effort like this than all the front-running touchdowns he's thrown coming into this. Tonight, he shows he can play.
Longhorns with a 3rd down. They need the 15-yard line. Gardere whips the pass, almost intercepted by Daniel Johnson. Oh, my goodness. Keith Cash, the intended receiver. And Gardere, if you hear a noise that sounds like a drum beat, that's probably his heart.
And it's happened to all of us. Throwing that flat pass, if you don't get it out in front of somebody, you can change the scoreboard fast.
Alex Schweitz, his longest kick of the night, 47. He's averaging just over 36 per kick. Well, the 25-second clock still had 16 seconds, so undoubtedly we're going to have some kind of procedure here.
Dead ball, false start, offense. Still 4th down.
Ron, I think this is just pointing out why points are so important in these type of games. You know, it's 45-18. If it was 28-18ers, I mean, everybody would still be holding their breath. You have to score and score and score because Klingler is just liable to throw one 75 yards and score in 8 seconds again the next time he gets the ball.
Weatherspoon from the 47. Flags come down and a clip is going to be called. Higgins is there defensively. He's had a good special teams night. That's about the 3rd time that we've called his name. 42 yards in the kick, 10 on the return, and I think the University of Houston is going to take a walk back.
Clipping on the return. 15-yard penalty. It'll be a 1st and 10.
And let's go back for another update. Here is Mr. Brando. Timmy.
All right, Ron, a Southwest Conference wrap-up here. Texas Tech beats TCU. They were 5-1, the Horned Frogs. They're now 5-4. That diminishes their bowl hopes drastically. SMU losing to Rice. Rice could go 6-5 if they win next weekend. Baylor beats Arkansas by a score of 34-3. They're 5-3-1. If they don't go Cotton, they could go to the Independence Bowl.
Klingler sets in the pocket, goes up top, and that one is intercepted by Stanley Richards. Back-to-back passes. The Texas secondary has picked off David Klingler here in the fourth quarter.
Stanley Richards, number 18, is actually covering the inside player, but when he sees the ball in the air, he goes for the ball. That's the ability to play free safety. He's been playing it all year. He's covering one man, he looks back, he sees the ball, and he reacts to it when it was in the air. David hung that one a little bit, and Stanley reacted to it and went and got it. Once the ball's in the air, your defensive backs have to become receivers and go grab it.
You made a statement about Richard early. You think that he has really improved his stock as far as the pros. Adrian Walker takes it for 6, now 7 yards.
No doubt about it, Ron. In the pro game, if you can have a safety that can play man-to-man coverage, he's so valuable because so many of the teams in the pro game now are going to 4 wideouts, 3 wideouts, and you have matchup problems all the time. So a guy like Richard, I mean, he's just moving up the draft order with every one of these plays. Stanley is just having some night tonight. You know, not just tonight, though. He's had it all night.
That's
Mark Berry?
Mark Berry has his arm in a sling. Willie Mac Garza has done an excellent job replacing him as Butch Hadnot takes it for the Texas first down. And let's go back to Neil Lomax for an update from the sideline.
Well, it's funny, the last series, Stan Richards was out with a bruised knee, Gary and Ron. He told me, I want to get back there and get me intercepts. These guys got Cotton on their mind. Back upstairs.
Texas leading 45-18 as the clock runs with 6 minutes and 19 seconds to play. Longhorns, after this evening, have TCU next week. Then they have the Baylor Bears and then Texas A&M. They still got a tough road to hoe in conference play.
Uh-oh, 2 men in motion. That's a little different.
That'll work north of the border, but not down here. As Hadnot brings it out of bounds around the 35, and that one will go back, and Texas will have 5 yards stepped off against them. 2 men moving at the same time. Gary, while they decide get this one all worked out, we've got an interesting one next week up in South Bend, Penn State. After a slow start and a couple of losses.
Can't say enough about Notre Dame going into Tennessee. Tennessee's been pointing for that game for all year, and they go right in there, score 14 fourth quarter points to steal that game against 95,000 people and a good football team, too.
And you and I have been up there and seen that. That is a tough place to play.
Well, Notre Dame has some advantage in that situation. They play a
shift by the offense, 2 men moving at the same time. It's still first down.
Let's take a look at this. This is the idea. This is where you really can gain an advantage right here. You got this guy's going in motion this way, and Hadnot's going to go in motion this way. But he realizes it, and he's going to see at the same time. He looks around, and he sees Walker going in motion. He goes, uh-oh, either he's wrong or I'm wrong. It's probably me. I'm the freshman, so I better stop here.
Hadnot gets the ball and takes it to the 27. Ryan McCoy is there defensively for the Houston Cougars. Picked up the 5-yard penalty and 1 more.
Butch Hadnot hasn't done much else wrong tonight, though. He has been running that ball. I'm sure he's happy with his offensive line. I mean, they've just provided all the push all night, but he can turn it up.
To show you how Texas has distributed the wealth this season, I was surprised. I didn't realize, I guess, that Texas had not had a running back that had gone over 100 yards this year. He's the first.
He had 97 yards versus SMU, but that's been the most. Here comes the blitz again.
25-second clock had run out. And the Longhorns are going to walk back and lose that 5 yards again.
This is a situation when people are saying, why are you throwing here? You've got a big lead. Let's check out the penalty first.
There was no play. The 25-second clock expired before the snap. Delay of the game, offense.
But in reality, Ron, sometimes the defense offers you no other alternative but to throw. They're putting 8 men up there. They're blitzing. They're taking away all the gaps. They're playing off, playing one-on-one. You're just trying to make first downs. You throw it out there and move it. It's just like long handoffs.
There's Leon Fuller with the white cap on.
He feels better today than he did Thursday and Friday, doesn't he?
He was a nervous wreck.
Here it is again. Here they all come.
Gardner calls the audible. Pass is thrown complete to Johnny Walker. Breaks off the tackle, and I believe, yes, he has the first down. Well, as they move the chains, let's talk about the Heisman. What did these gentlemen do today? Well, Ismail, 44 yards rushing, 43 receiving, 44 returns. So all-purpose yards. You see what he's done on the year.
You know, we've seen the Rocket against Pitt. He can really turn it on when he gets the ball. But they bottled him up a little bit, Tennessee. That's a pretty good job against them.
Moore, 2,153 yards, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Boy, if they had not had that illegal procedure penalty and they got that touchdown against Tech, he'd be a real front runner right now, and he still may win it.
Adrian Walker to the 42-yard line of Houston. John Brown makes the stop, and the third-ranked Houston Cougars have got to be tasting it right now as the clock is really their enemy with less than 5 minutes to play, and Texas driving the football.
Ron, I've never been in their position to win a national championship. This team's been on probation. They've worked so hard to get back in the national spotlight, and to have this happen to them tonight has got to be really disappointing. But they've got a lot of young football players, and they've got a great leader in their quarterback. They'll come back next year.
Blitz again as the handoff goes to Hadnot, and he takes it inside the 35. Daniel Johnson tries to corral him, but the youngster has a gain of 8 on the play.
I'm afraid the Texas sleeping giant is awoken, and the NCAA had better be ready for the Longhorns in the future. They have something good going here, and it's not going to get any worse.
David McWilliams and his staff coming into this season, many of the preseason projections were not real good. But right now, Mr. Danielson, you hit it on the head. They are running on all cylinders. Hadnot burst through the middle for the first down, +5. Trey Hooper holding on for dear life. Let's take a look at the standings of the Southwest Conference. This is the last conference game for the U of H. And of course, because of sanctions, they could not go to the Cotton Bowl even if they had won this one tonight and won the conference. Texas about to go 5-0. Then Baylor, A&M, and TCU.
The big uproar right now is they've just brought Bruce Hadnot off the field. Everybody's congratulated him. The freshman had a super game tonight. He had a super game for a senior, let alone a freshman.
Adrian Walker knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Going to be second down and short as he has a gain of close to 8. John Brown is there defensively.
I have not seen a football team watching college football in a long time that has weapons like this Texas team has. Phil Brown, Chris Samuels, Butch Hadnot, Adrian Walker, those 4 players are all great running backs. They could fit in a lot of teams and be the star of their football team, and they have to share time on this offense, plus the receivers that they're able to throw at you.
Phil Brown at the 5. Pushed out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
Phil Brown, who had the big game against Colorado early in the year, he's going to get it deep, the one-back offense. Adrian Walker at the top of your screen is going to block for his buddy. He reads it, he walks inside of it, and boy, he's into the secondary. And he reads it so nicely. This guy had a big game early in the year when they could have beat Colorado here that night. What a performance by this football team. Hey, Bruce. 3 touchdowns, and now he's a cheerleader.
First and goal at the 1-yard line. Don't forget, coming up at the end of the telecast, Gary and I will have the Visa players of the game. Pete Gardere, the sophomore out of Houston Lee High School. And he'll take it straight ahead, and did he get in? No signal, and they're going to put him down at the 1-foot line. Gardere tried on
if
the
he held on to the
count.
ball. Yeah, he kind of like did a sucker snap right there. He might have lost that ball before he got down. Let's watch this. You can see none of the Texas players are even going to move on this play. This is a quarterback sneak. And he goes. Nobody else is even aware of it. It's just between the center and him. And he loses the ball before he gets down as he reaches out with one hand. So kind of the sucker play quarterback sneak, they get a turnover.
So the ball goes over to the Houston Cougars. We're going to take a break. 2:54 left to play. Left, Texas 45-18, and the police trying to keep the fans off the field as they have started coming over the walls down in the end zone. Klingler slings it complete, and out of bounds is Alexander.
Complete to number 89, Craig Alexander.
I think about the only person that could keep the fans out, the only thing that could keep, maybe if they run Bevo by there a couple times, they might be able to clean him out, but I don't think the police are going to have much of an opportunity to keep him off the field when this game ends.
So the Gardere play on the quick snap, they ruled that his knee was not down, and the fumble going over to Houston. That's the reason the Cougars...
And he fumbled into the end zone, too, so it comes out to the 20.
Incomplete, and now a flag comes down deep in the secondary. Don't forget, next week, College Game Day at 11:30. Then immediately following that, we got action in the Big Ten. Minnesota against Michigan at 12:30. Immediately followed by Penn State at Notre Dame. And then the third game of the night, Georgia at Auburn. All next week, right here on your Total Sports Network, ESPN.
Downfield,
we have holding by the offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
I think he meant deep.
Butch had that ear hot tonight. He got steam coming from his head. 3 touchdowns. What a night. Look at that steam. He was hot tonight.
Time on. Klingler looks one direction, tries to throw back, and miscommunication with Hazard. Hazard and Bubba Jacks with some words back and forth after the play was over, and it's going to be second down and 10.
John Jenkins is so committed to this offense. He knows it as well as anyone. He's offensive coordinator for the Houston Gamblers. He's seen it all. He spends his whole summers tracking every type of defense possible. Morning, noon, night. He sleeps about the run and shoot.
Weatherspoon in the draw. Has 5, has 10 into the secondary, and a gain of 15 yards to the 45-yard line. Todd Ringo, the junior from Amarillo, is there to make the tackle, and let's go back to Neil Lomax. Neil?
Well, obviously, it's been complete domination by the Texas defense on my old run and shoot offense. I feel a little bad, but I'll tell you something else, Gary and Ron. The offensive line was really upset that they didn't score a touchdown. Might be a little payback against the Houston Cougars the last couple of years on running up the scores. Back to you guys.
Flag comes down. Pass is thrown incomplete at the 23-yard line. Verlin Brown, the intended receiver. Oscar Giles was putting on the pressure, and that's going to be holding called against Houston.
Ron, I felt the key to this game was could they get pressure on Klingler and control Spoon. They've done it. They've controlled Weatherspoon. He's got 50 yards rushing tonight. Remember, this guy the last 2 years rushed for 379 yards against them. He did not have the other weapon that the run and shoot had the previous times. You know, that's one of the very tough things when you got a team that throws the ball and then still gets the running game going. They shred it. He stopped it this year. 17. Look at that. And tonight he's averaging like a fullback should, 3.3 yards.
First down from the 45. Ball incomplete. As you could see, Patrick Cooper had not yet turned around and the ball was there. Van Malone was the closest man to it along with Stanley Richard. Now 2:03 to play.
You can see the high mom on the towel from Cooper right there.
In the north end zone, the student section, they have tried to keep them from coming over, but I'll tell you, to the north end zone and also to the other side of the field,
they're right.
It's 20 deep.
Yes.
Hey, get back against the wall.
Flag comes down. Klingler scrambling for his life. And the pass incomplete down at the 40-yard line. As Jeff Higgins was putting on the pressure, and he got caught with a comeback block. And that's going to be holding called against Houston again.
Sometimes when you chase the quarterback, you don't see out of the blind side. Leroy Truitt's going to get Jeff Higgins. Whoa, his helmet almost came off. That's a decleater. He got him off the ground. But you know, when the score is 45-18, they don't hurt as much.
Jeff Higgins is the young man that played high school football with Van Pelt, the quarterback up at Pittsburgh. You remember Van Pelt talked
yes,
very favorably about him, that they were extremely good friends.
Well, I'm sure Alex had a nice chuckle on that one.
Second down, and the line to make is the Texas 35-yard line. Shovel pass, Weatherspoon hit again, and he'll be knocked down by Anthony Curl. Gain of 1 on the play. Michael Padgett was also there defensively.
And Mark Steed also got in on it too. Second unit. It's like, you know, we were trying to talk before, they're like sharks now. Everybody wants to get in the game. It's a feeding frenzy. I want to be on TV making the big hit.
Well, immediately coming up, it's the Residence Inn College scoreboard. Tim Brando will be there with today's action in college football. Also, we'll take a look at what has happened in the top 10. And Tim will update you on our poll tonight on who should be number 1. Probably a lot of people in the Lone Star State saying maybe Texas should get some consideration. Pass complete at the 50-yard line, out of bounds at the 48.
This game is basically, I mean, it's over, 45-18. The only thing I don't agree with is having David Klingler in the football game right now. He's a very valuable asset. At this point in the game, what you're really doing is going for stats. And stats really don't mean anything in the long run of the game. Wins mean it, touchdowns mean it. But look at season lows, 19 completions, 255 yards, and 1 TD. But if he possibly gets hurt right now, John will never forgive himself.
Klingler gets it away, complete to Good down at the 31-yard line. Stanley Richard on the stop for Texas. And the clock will stop for just a moment as they move the chains with 62 seconds left. Bevo still lying down in the end zone. Good 3 catches for 25 yards. He had 55 coming into the ballgame. Screen complete at the 30. And to the 22-yard line, Anthony Curl is there to make the stop and hazard. Well, tonight's Visa players of the game are from the University of Houston, middle linebacker McCoy. 18 tackles, 8 solo, and for the University of Texas, Pete Gardere. And as part of their continuing effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa is proud to donate $1,000 to each of these universities and $1,000 to the U.S. Olympic team on behalf of these athletes. Pete Gardere, the player of the game for Texas, and
Ryan McCoy.
Ryan McCoy, the freshman from Beaumont.
Larry Coyer said he's the best freshman linebacker in the country. We said, have you seen Marvin Jones from Florida State play? But this guy's the real thing, too.
Klingler zings it in the end zone, caught for the touchdown. Hazard. "24 seconds left on the clock."
We don't need this. The object is to win the game. This is what is so tough about playing the deep zones and the prevent defenses against this. When you got a rocket arm like this guy has, there's no zone that people are close enough together. He can throw the ball 30, 40 yards on a line, and the zone stretches because you got 4 people out there. You have to have a man-to-man covered out there if you have the ability to do it.
Hazard, 6 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Houston goes for a pair. Klingler has it incomplete. Trying to get Verlin Brown in the end zone. Big day tomorrow here on ESPN. The game day at noon Eastern time, then primetime coverage at 7 o'clock, and then our ball game tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock Eastern time, San Francisco in Dallas. Now this one only has 24.
They're going to have to call this game.
Here come the fans onto the field. They are running from both ends of the field.
They're going to have to call this game.
And now the goalpost in the north end of the end zone. Students are jumping onto the goalpost.
There really is no need for this. You know, the only problem I see with this run is Texas should be used to winning these games. They don't have to carry on like this. This is a very proud tradition school, and they should just step up, and this should be part of it. Come on, students. Let's get back in the stands, watch the game. Let your team enjoy the celebration. Let the players on the field enjoy the celebration. They're the ones that earned it tonight.
Excellent point.
You know, these are the same students that are the first one to criticize the team when they lose a game, and then they join the team in a big victory.
Well, they got him off the field, and now the goalpost is about to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please leave the goalpost alone. There have been people seriously hurt. Goalpost falling down. So we ask that you please use one common sense. Stay away from the goalpost. We appreciate your support. Yell all you want to, but please use one common sense.
All right, let's recap this again. Texas is back. They've emerged. The sleeping giant has awakened. They just are back in the national spotlight. They're going to be a top 5, 6, 7 team now. We said they had to stop the run and stop the spoon tonight. They did that. They put pressure on Klingler, and Peter Gardere has came through in a big way. Those 3 things made the score 45-24, and the last couple touchdowns were no-brainers and no big deal.
Well, we have 24 seconds to get off the clock. The students are back off the field. They have gotten away from the goalpost. But in the interim, a 15-yard penalty has been assessed against Texas. And Houston's Roman Anderson will be setting this onside kick from the 50-yard line.
People who watch the score and they see it 45-24, don't be fooled. This was total domination tonight. 45-24 is not any indication at how much Texas dominated this Houston football team tonight.
Anderson moves his ball club over, and it has been caught by Texas, and that will do it. In fact, without 25 seconds on the clock, They'll have to go on the knee one time. Bubba Jacks made the recovery on the special teams. So the conference standings after this evening are going to look like this. Texas at 5-0, 7-1 overall. Houston will go to 7-1 in conference play. They have 2 non-conference games left. Baylor, Texas A&M, and TCU. Gardere will go down on one knee with this, and that is going to do it. And here they come onto the field. I don't know if John Jenkins and David McWilliams will ever find each other out there amidst 30,000 of their closest friends. The clock shows double zeros, and this one is over. The Houston or the Texas theme this year has been whatever it takes, and tonight they forced 6 turnovers, and Klingler a season low in completions and also in yards. They did whatever it took.
Whatever it took. John Jenkins said the run and shoot couldn't be stopped, but when you're outmatched physically, the front four from this great Texas defense overpowered them and didn't give David a chance to set up and show what he could do.
So our final score, the Texas Longhorns 45 and the Houston Cougars 24. Coming up next week here on ESPN, game day at 11:30 with Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Charlene Hawks. Then we'll go to the Big Ten, Minnesota at Michigan, followed by Penn State at Notre Dame, and the third game is Georgia at Auburn. That at 7:30. All coming up next week here on ESPN. Again, the final, the Longhorns 45 and the Houston Cougars 24. We're going to take a break, and then Tim Brando will wrap up today's happenings in the CFA. So long, everybody.